So there I was, Ron Yeager, totally normal dude from Earth, living my best life. When BM, I wake up in some medieval nightmare world inside a skinny teenager's body. Cool. Love that for me. Let me catch you up. My new dad? Dead from overwork. Mom? Vanished. Poof. Gone like my chances of a comfortable life. All I got left is my sister Alice and a tiny farm. Should be fine, right? Wrong. Because this greasy ball of lard named Barto, local farm boss, professional scumbag, decided to steal everything we owned. Our house, our land, everything. And my sister? My sweet, self-sacrificing sister sold herself into slavery for 4 silver coins just so I could pay taxes and not become property too. For coins. That's her price tag. I'm not crying, you're crying. But here's where it gets good. The universe threw me a bone, a system. Every morning at midnight, I get exactly 10 pieces of random intel, like a daily newspaper written by a psychic spy. Today's headlines? Oh, they were spicy. Number 1. Bardo wants to sell me to some creepy noble named Cleggy who. Let's just say he has very illegal hobbies involving kids. So that's terrifying. Number 4. There's bird eggs in a tree 50 meters from my shack. Thanks, universe. Very helpful while I'm fighting for survival. Number 10. And this is the banger. Barto is going to step on my trap at noon and drop his wallet. That's right. I set a trap for this man. Not just any trap either. I found a rusty old bear trap, soaked it in my own toilet water for days, and buried it right where my intel said he'd trip tomorrow. Rust plus poop water equals tetanus speedrun. I'm basically a medieval bioweapon engineer. So now I'm lying face down in the grass like a bush with anger issues, watching this fat tyrant waddle through the rice fields, whipping starving people, screaming about lazy slaves. Real charmer. Then, oh beautiful moment, Barto spots one single stalk of wheat his slaves missed. And because he's too cheap to let a single grain go, he waddles right over to grab it, and snap. Music to my ears. All I need now is whatever's in that wallet. Because in this world, if you learn something called a breathing technique, you can train this energy called battle aura and become a knight. Even the lowest level baby knight can punch bears to death. And honestly, after 10 days of hiding in an abandoned shack eating bird eggs, punching a bear sounds like a vacation. But first, Barto, screaming in a ditch, covered in my special seasoning. Today is a good day. Snap went the trap. Scream went the fat man. Smile went me. I'm lying there in the grass like a human pancake, and even from hundreds of meters away, I can hear Bardo howling like someone shoved a cactus up his nose. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Chef's kiss. His foot. Destroyed. That bear trap bit through the flesh and clamped straight onto bone. His butler and guards are freaking out, running around like headless chickens. And the slaves? Oh man, the slaves. They stopped working and just watched. Some of them, I swear, had the tiniest little smirk. Years of whippings and abuse. And now their boss is screaming in a ditch with a rusty poop trap on his foot. Karma delivery, express shipping. The guards tried to pull the trap off, but every time they touched it, Bardo screamed louder. So he's like, stop, you idiots, just carry me home. So they did. They picked up this sweaty, bleeding, cursing meatball and hauled him away. But, and this is so Barto, before leaving, he literally stops to remind everyone. Make sure those slaves finish the harvest. No slacking. Dude, your foot looks like hamburger meat and you're worried about wheat productivity. Respect the grind, I guess. Now here's where I almost lost it. The wallet. My precious, precious wallet. I had to wait. The slaves were still working. The guards were still watching. I'm lying in grass for hours. My legs went completely numb. I'm pretty sure an ant colony started building a condo on my left thigh. 2 hours pass. Harvest done. Slaves leave. Guards leave. I still wait another 30 minutes because I'm paranoid. Finally, coast clear. I sprint over, dig through the wheat scraps, and there it is. A square leather wallet just sitting there like a gift from the universe. I grabbed it and ran. Didn't even open it. Just booked it back to my crappy little shack in the woods. You know, the one with a rotting roof I patched with grass, and a door lock that's been broken since before I was born. And get this, right after I left, Bardo's men came back looking for it. Timing. I have the timing of a legend. Meanwhile, back at Bardo's fancy mansion, because of course he has a mansion, the greedy pig, he's lying in bed cursing everyone. Who put that trap there? Find my wallet. Check the slaves. His butler's like, sir, It was probably just a farmer protecting crops from rats, and Barto's buying it because he's too angry to think straight. Best part? His doctor cleaned the wound and basically said, "Hey boss, this looks really bad. That trap was rusty and covered in something nasty. You should go see the real doctor in Kula City." And Barto, this absolute penny-pinching walrus, says, "Nah, I trust your skills." Translation: he's too cheap to pay for proper medicine. The doctor walked out, shaking his head, basically thinking, well, I might need a new employer soon. Because yeah, untreated rust and poop infection plus bone-deep wound? That math only goes one way, buddy. So there I am, back in my garbage shack at sunset, heart pounding, finally safe. I pull out the wallet, crack it open, and a gold coin. An actual, shiny, beautiful gold coin staring back at me like a little round sun. Today's score, Ron 1, Barto 0. And his foot's probably going to fall off. Alright, time for a finance lesson from the world's most broke teenager. So this world runs on 3 coins: gold lions, silver wolves, and copper deers. 1 gold equals 100 silver equals 10,000 copper. A normal family of 3 in my little town doesn't even make 1 gold coin a year. And sitting in my palm right now, 1 gold coin, 6 silver, and 22 copper. I just became the richest homeless guy in the forest. But I can't go flashing cash around. I'm a scrawny kid living in a shack with a broken door. If anyone sees me spending gold coins, I'll get robbed faster than you can say. Medieval mugging. 2 of those silver coins are 5 denomination ones, which hit me right in the feelings, because that's exactly what my sister was sold for. For silver 5s. 20 silver total for a human being. This world is garbage, and I'm going to fix it. Somehow. Step 1. Get strong. Step 2. Save Alice. Step 3. Make Barto's entire life a horror movie. Anyway, my stomach's screaming at me because I skipped lunch to lie in grass all day plotting revenge. So I go collect those berries and bird eggs from today's intel. Thanks, psychic newspaper, and cook up a wild vegetable porridge with the last of my rice. Cracked 5 eggs in there at the end. Honestly, best meal I've had in 10 days. I'm sitting there slurping porridge with a round belly like a medieval food critic giving 5 stars to desperation soup. I patch up my sad little bed, stare at the moon through my grass ceiling, start planning tomorrow, and fall asleep. Then at midnight, ding ding ding, the system wakes me up with fresh intel. And oh, my God, let me give you the highlights. Number 2, Barto's wound is infected. He's got a fever. My poop trap worked perfectly. Number 3, if he doesn't get proper treatment, he'll be dead in 2 weeks. The man was too cheap to see the real doctor, and now he's speedrunning his own funeral. I'm not even sorry. Number 4, that traitor lady, Mrs. Merla, who helped sell my sister. She skimmed 60 silver coins off the deal. My sister got 4 silver. This woman pocketed 60. I now have a second name on my list. Numbers 5 and 6. Oh, it gets better. Mrs. Merla and Barto were secret lovers and business partners running a human trafficking ring targeting free citizens. My family was on their menu. These 2 deserve each other. And by each other, I mean matching graves. Number 8. Barto's wife is cheating on him with the butler. And the youngest son isn't even his. This man's life is falling apart like wet bread, and I am here for it. But the real bangers? 9 and 10. Number 9. Barto's oldest son is going to get drunk tonight, stumble home, and drop a notebook at a street corner. Inside that notebook, a breathing technique. The wild wolf breathing method. The exact thing I need to become a knight. Just lying on the ground, waiting for me. Daddy gives me his wallet. Sonny drops me a martial arts manual. This family is basically my involuntary sponsor at this point. The Barto Scholarship Fund for Revenge Students. Number 10. At the butcher shop in town, there's a new batch of rabbits arriving at noon. One of them, a red-tailed rabbit, has an undigested energy pearl in its belly. These pearls are worth at least 5 gold coins. They boost your body, and they have a chance of forming something called a life seed inside you, which is literally step 1 of becoming a knight. Without a life seed, you can't generate battle aura, and you're stuck being a sidekick forever. So let me recap my shopping list for tomorrow. Pick up a drunk guy's notebook off the street, and buy a rabbit from the butcher to fish a magical pearl out of its stomach. This is either the greatest treasure hunt ever, or the weirdest Tuesday of my life. Either way, tomorrow, I ride. Well, I walk. I don't have a horse. But you get the energy. So it's the middle of the night, and I'm sitting on my garbage plank bed, brain running at full speed, going through today's intel like a general planning a war. Except the general lives in a shed and his army is just him and a small iron pot. First things first, the stone house. 3 kilometers west, in the hills. Abandoned, but safe. Honestly, massive upgrade. My current place has walls that are basically suggestions and a roof made of thoughts and prayers. Cold weather's coming, rain's coming, and oh yeah, giant monster footprints have been spotted nearby. So yeah, I'm moving. Tomorrow, my entire list of belongings is 1 pot and some salt. I'll manage. Now, the Bardo situation. I genuinely set that trap hoping to maybe break his leg, give him a bad day, collect some pain tax. But according to the intel, this man is going to die in 2 weeks from infection because he was too cheap to see the real doctor. Let me say that again. This man chose death over paying a medical bill. I've heard of being frugal, but this is a whole new category. I didn't assassinate him, his own wallet did. His stinginess is the murder weapon. I'm basically innocent. The poop water was just seasoning on fate's plan. Unless he finds a priest with healing magic or some potion-making wizard, he's toast. And a guy like Bardo, small-town slave owner, 0 connections to the big leagues, ain't getting either of those. So, rest in peace. Actually, no. Rest in suffering. You earned it. Then I read Intel 4 through 6, and my blood goes icy cold. That traitor woman, Mrs. Merla, the one who helped my sister sell herself, she skimmed 60 silver coins off the deal. 60. Alice got 4. 4. This woman ate 60 silver and smiled about it. And it gets worse. She and Bardo were running a whole scam together. Secret lovers, secret business partners, targeting free citizens to sell into slavery. My family was on their shopping list from the start. There's an old saying, middlemen, con artists, and crooked brokers deserve punishment even without a trial. I'm adding Mrs. Merla to my to-do list. Right under Barto, with a big red circle around her name. Then Intel 7 and 8. Oh boy, so Bardo's wife has been sleeping with the butler. And their youngest kid? Not Bardo's. Butler's baby. This man's house is a soap opera, and he doesn't even know it. My evil little brain immediately starts spinning. Could I use this information somehow? Cause some chaos in the Bardo household? Turn them against each other while the old man's lying in bed dying from my poop infection? Oh, absolutely. Filing that one away for later. So that's my plan. Grab the breathing technique, grab the magic pearl, move to the stone house, get strong, save my sister, and burn down everyone who wronged us. Simple, clean, totally achievable for a broke 14-year-old with no combat skills. And speaking of my sister, I don't know what Alice is doing right now, but I think about her constantly. She sold herself, just so I could stay free, for lousy silver coins. That's what she decided her freedom was worth, as long as it kept me alive. She's at the Sal family house in Kula City now, probably working herself to the bone. Knowing Alice, she's sewing silk at 3 in the morning with no sleep, being kind to everyone around her even when nobody's kind back. That's just who she is. Too good for this rotten world. She's got this condition, a huge dark birthmark covering half her face. Makes her look scary to people who don't know her. But underneath that, sweetest person alive. She'd catch you before you fell and apologize for not being faster. I bet right now, she's staring out some tiny window, looking at the same moon I'm looking at, wondering if her useless little brother is okay. Well, Alice, your little brother is scheming. Your little brother has a gold coin, a revenge list, and a system that tells him the future. Hold on just a little longer. I'm coming. But first, I need to go pick up a drunk guy's notebook and buy a rabbit. Priorities. Morning came and I was out of that trash shack like my life depended on it, because it literally did. Half-hour later, I found the stone house from last night's intel. Tucked against a hillside, about 60-70 square meters. Dusty, cobwebby, abandoned for ages. But you know what it had? Walls. Real ones. Made of stone. Windows that close. A roof that doesn't cry every time it rains. A door with an actual bolt. I smashed the rusty lock with a rock, walked in, coughed for 5 minutes straight from the dust cloud, and immediately thought, this is the nicest place I've ever lived. My standards are underground, people. There's a stone bed, a stone table, and a stone stool. That's it. I basically moved into a cave with furniture. And I love it. Dropped off my worldly possessions, 1 pot, some salt, 0 dignity, and headed to town. At the gate, A guard stopped me because I looked like a walking scarecrow. Fair enough. I've been living in the woods eating bird eggs for 10 days. But I flashed my free citizen ID card, and he let me through. Apparently there's a curfew now because of the monster sightings, so the gates close at night. Good to know. The market street was about 50 meters long with shops on both sides. Grain store, tailor, blacksmith, the usual medieval mall. I played it cool. Bought some rice. Grabbed some salt. Casual shopping. Totally normal teenager who is not about to commit rabbit surgery. Then, right on schedule, noon hits. I walk into the butcher shop. The butcher is exactly what you'd expect. Huge dude. Blood everywhere. Beard like a Viking who lost his ship. He's like, "What do you want, kid?" And I'm like, "Fresh rabbit, please." He points at the cages. A bunch of gray rabbits. And one chunky boy with a red tail. My rabbit. The one with a magical energy pearl worth 5 gold coins sitting in its stomach. Just chilling there between the discount bunnies. My heart is pounding, but I put on my best. I'm just a broke kid buying dinner face. That fat one looks good. I'll take it. The butcher grabs his knife and starts sharpening it, and I nearly had a heart attack. If he cuts this rabbit open right here, the pearl drops out and my life is over. Wait, I blurted out. I'll take it alive. I want to see if it can. Have babies first. The butcher stared at me. I stared at him. The rabbit stared at both of us. He shrugged. Whatever, kid. 15 copper. I made a whole performance of pulling out exactly 15 coins from my pocket while mumbling. Oh no, this is all my money. I can't afford anything else now. Full broke kid theater. Academy award material. Inside. I'm doing backflips. I just bought a 5 gold coin treasure for 15 copper. That's a return on investment of like 33,000%. Warren Buffett could never. So I'm speed walking out of the market, clutching my magic rabbit, trying not to literally skip with joy when disaster strikes. You're Ron Yeager. I froze. Looked up, and there she was. Mrs. Merla, the woman who swindled my sister. The woman who skimmed 60 silver off Alice's sale. The secret business partner of Barto. The human trafficker wearing expensive makeup and a fancy dress, looking at me like I was a piece of meat at her own butcher shop. And I mean that in the worst way possible, because this woman, this painted-up, wrinkly former courtesan, was checking me out. Me, a starving teenager holding a rabbit. Her eyes went all hungry, and she's mentally going, maybe before I sell this kid to the creepy noble, I could, and oh, absolutely not. Every alarm in my brain went off at once. DEFCON 1. This woman is looking at me like I'm dessert, and she hasn't eaten in a week. But here's the thing, I can't show my hand. She doesn't know I know everything. She doesn't know about the system. She doesn't know I know she stole 60 silver. She doesn't know I know she and Bardo were planning to enslave me. So what did I do? I looked down at my feet, shuffled nervously, made my voice small and timid. Mrs. Merla? Did you need something from me? Full sheep mode. Full helpless orphan act. Let her think I'm scared and stupid. Because the moment I get my breathing technique and that energy pearl activated, this woman's enjoying days are over. But for now, shy face, soft voice, clutch the rabbit tighter. The performance of a lifetime. I had to look down when talking to Mrs. Merla. Not out of respect, out of self-preservation. Because if she saw my eyes right then, she'd see a boy who wanted to strangle her with her own pearl necklace. But I'm a scrawny kid in a town full of guards. Can't exactly go on a murder spree before lunch. So I swallowed my rage like bad medicine and played dumb. And oh, this woman had the audacity. She looked me dead in the face and said, "Your sister asked me to find her a job at the Sal family house. She's doing great. She even gained weight." Gained weight? You sold her into slavery, you painted cockroach. She's probably sewing silk at 3 in the morning with no sleep. Gained weight. Yeah, gained weight in misery maybe. Then came the pitch. Poor little Ron, all alone. Your sister's so worried. Lucky for you, I found a nice position at Mr. Cleggie's house. He needs a boy's servant, Mr. Cleggie, the noble with the hobbies. She's literally trying to sell me to a predator while smiling like she's offering me candy. If I didn't have the system, I'd probably believe this snake and walk right into the trap. That's what makes her so dangerous. She's good at this. Time for my performance. Well, thank you, Mrs. Merla, but actually, I want to try the Night Academy. Her face froze for half a second, then she burst out laughing. The Night Academy is this public school in town where they teach reading, skills, and, for the lucky few, breathing techniques. 20 years, 10 knights produced. Sounds great, right? Except every single one of those 10 knights came from rich or powerful families. The whole anyone can be chosen thing is basically a marketing scam. It's like those you could win $1 million sweepstakes where the winner is always the CEO's nephew. Merla knows this, so she gave me this pitying smirk and said, "Honey, be realistic. You'll never be a knight." I pouted, shuffled my feet, did my best, stubborn dumb kid impression. "But I want a TRYYY. She patted my head, metaphorically, thank God not literally, and said, "Fine, go ahead. When you fail, the job at Cleggy's will still be waiting." Then she walked away laughing, swinging her hips like she'd just won the conversation. "Lady, you didn't win anything. You just gave me time," which is exactly what I needed. Once she was gone, the innocent face dropped instantly, like pulling off a mask. "Laugh it up. Soon you won't be able to." She's right about one thing, though. I need a cover job. I've got Bardo's wallet money, but a homeless orphan kid suddenly spending gold coins is suspicious. I need a legit income source so nobody asks questions. Filing that under problems to solve later, I rushed back to the stone house with my precious rabbit. Time for surgery. I laid the bunny on the ground, grabbed my little cooking knife, and very carefully opened it up. Guts and blood plopped into my iron pot. I'm elbow deep in rabbit intestines, fishing around like I'm playing the world's grossest claw machine. And then, my fingers touched something hard. I pulled it out. An egg-sized pearl, covered in blood, glowing faintly green even through all the gore. I washed it off and, wow, it was beautiful. Shimmering jade green, practically alive with energy. This little thing could change my entire life. Worth 5 gold coins minimum, and more importantly, it might be my ticket to forming a life seed and actually becoming a knight. I wrapped it carefully in cloth and tucked it away like it was made of pure hope, because it kind of was. Then I looked at the rest of the rabbit and my stomach said, well, don't waste it, so I cooked it. Salt was the only seasoning I had, but after 10 days of vegetable porridge and bird eggs, that rabbit tasted like a Michelin star meal. I ate everything, even licked the bones clean like a feral cat. Zero shame, maximum satisfaction. That afternoon, I headed back to town. By evening, I made my way to the border between the poor district and the rich district. Because tonight, Bardo's drunk son was supposed to drop a notebook at a street corner. And that notebook has a breathing technique in it. There are 2 drinking spots in town. The Pirate Tavern in the poor area, cheap booze, maximum chaos. And the Passion Bar in the rich area, expensive drinks, fancy decor, poets reciting stuff, and hot girls dancing on stage. Guess which one a rich kid like Bardo's son goes to? Time to go notebook hunting. I stood in a dark corner across from the Passion Bar like the world's most underage stalker. Not creepy, strategic. There's a difference. Probably. Right on schedule. Here comes Bardo Jr., Nem. Medium height, pudgy, squinty little eyes, pale face. Walking with 2 servants who looked about as threatening as wet napkins. Not night guards, just regular servants. This kid has zero security. Rich people really do think money is a force field. Nem strolled up to the bar entrance like he owned the place, tossed a handful of copper coins at the doorman like he was feeding pigeons, and disappeared inside laughing. Real classy, this family. The apple doesn't fall far from the garbage tree. I backed into an alley. No point waiting here. The intel said the notebook drops at the 2nd Street corner. So that's where I went. Found a nice shadow to stand in and waited. 1 hour later, the bar doors swing open and out stumbles my boy Nem, red-faced, glassy-eyed, completely hammered after what was apparently a short drinking session. Lightweight. His 2 servants grabbed him on each side like human training wheels. Normally Nem would just sleep it off at the bar, but there's a curfew because of the monster scare, plus his dad is lying at home dying from my poop trap. So Junior has to go home like a responsible son. They wobbled their way toward the rich district, and then, right at the 2nd Street corner, Nem's stomach said, nope. He shoved both servants away, lurched into a corner, and unleashed the most disgusting sound I've heard since arriving in this world. Just violently emptied his entire evening into the gutter. The servants held their noses, patted his back, wiped his face. Nem waved them off with a, I'm fine, let's go, and stumbled away. Nobody checked the ground. Nobody looked back. Amateurs. I crept out of the shadows, looked down, and, yeah, the vomit situation was rough. But 2 meters away from the splash zone, sitting clean on a stone tile like a gift from heaven, a small notebook. Jackpot. I snatched it, shoved it in my shirt, checked every direction, nobody around, and zigzagged through the back alleys to the poor district. Gates were already closed for curfew, so going back to my stone house was a no-go. I knew about a secret dog hole in the wall from an old intel tip, but wandering through dark woods at night, when actual monsters might be out there? Yeah, I choose life. Paid for a cheap room at an inn instead. 10 square meters, 1 bed, 1 table, 1 oil lamp. To me, the Ritz. I barricaded the door with a chair, lit the lamp, and pulled out the notebook with trembling hands. And there it was, the wild wolf breathing technique, with diagrams and notes, written by Nem himself, who, bless his useless soul, is so uneducated that he wrote everything in the simplest words possible. I understood every single character. Nem's stupidity was literally my gain. Here's what it does: boost strength, speed, defense, and stamina. And if you master it fully, wolf-level senses, enhanced smell, hearing, sight, and you can see in the dark, like actual night vision. That's insanely cool. Sure, it's only a beginner-level technique. But beginner is all I need to form a life seed and start generating battle aura. Once I cross that line from helpless orphan to actual knight, the whole game changes. I read it twice, memorized what I could, and when the lamp oil ran out, I reluctantly went to bed. Couldn't sleep though. Too excited. Like a kid on Christmas Eve, except the present is the ability to eventually kill everyone who ruined your life. Then at midnight, ding, new intel drops. And this batch was absolutely unhinged. Number 1 and 2. My stone house was built by an alchemist with magic, and he left something in the desk drawer. A low-level alchemical item just sitting there waiting for me. I've been living in a wizard's house and didn't even check the furniture. I'm an idiot. Number 3. Do not eat the energy pearl raw. If a normal person swallows it, best case, bad stomach. Worst case, your body literally explodes. Cool. Glad I didn't just pop it like a gummy vitamin. Number 4. But I can make it into a nutritional potion. And the system gave me the recipe, with a click to expand button and everything. My psychic newspaper now has a cooking section. Number 5. Practicing the breathing technique requires tons of food, especially meat and eggs. Great. I'm broke and my diet has been sadness porridge for a week. Number 6. Barto found out his son lost the notebook and got so angry his condition worsened. Wound is now red, swollen, and oozing pus. 12 days to live. Down from 14. This man is literally rage-quitting life because his son dropped a book. My entertainment never ends. Number 8. The butler, you know, the one sleeping with Barto's wife, is getting yelled at so much that he's drinking every night at the cheap tavern. Filing that under, useful for later manipulation. Number 9. After meeting me yesterday, Mrs. Merla got so inspired that she went out looking for handsome men for a one-night stand. I made a middle-aged human trafficker horny just by existing. I need a shower. A spiritual one. And number 10. This one blew my mind. The monster tracks outside town? Fake. Made by the Thieves Guild to cause panic. There's no monster. The whole thing is a scam. So the curfew, the price hikes, the fear, all manufactured by criminals. This world just keeps getting more ridiculous. And somehow, I keep getting more information about it than anyone else alive. Tomorrow, check the wizard desk, learn the potion recipe, start training. Things are finally moving. Sleep? Gone. Who needs sleep when your magic brain newspaper just dropped bombshells? First up, my stone house was built by an alchemist. With magic, I've been casually living in a wizard's custom-built home like it's a normal Tuesday. And this wizard, Harlington, left behind a low-level alchemical item in the desk drawer. Just forgot it there like someone leaving their phone charger at an Airbnb. Now, here's the thing about alchemical items in this world. Most of them are cursed. Like, some eat your money, some drain your luck, some literally suck out your lifespan. The really nasty ones don't even need you to touch them. They just sit there radiating evil energy like a haunted microwave. There are entire horror stories about this stuff. But Harlington's item? Labeled harmless, safe for regular people. No side effects. No demon contracts. Just a free magical goodie sitting in a desk I haven't opened yet because I'm apparently the world's worst treasure hunter. Thank you, Harlington. You magnificent wizard hermit. You absolute legend. Then I read Intel 3 and nearly passed out. Explode? The energy pearl can make you explode. Turns out the street rumor that you can just swallow energy pearls raw. Lies. Deadly lies. A normal person's body can't handle it. Best case, really bad tummy ache. Worst case, you pop like a water balloon full of human. And I, genius that I am, was planning to eat it like a snack yesterday. If I hadn't been busy getting the breathing technique first, I would have chugged that thing at noon and become the world's dumbest firework. The universe saved me through sheer scheduling conflict. I owe my life to procrastination. But then, Intel 4 had something I'd never seen before. A clickable, expand button inside my brain, like a hyperlink in my mind. I mentally tapped it, and a whole subpanel opened up with a full recipe. The Monde Empire Universal Nutrition Potion. Step-by-step instructions. Water, honey, mint leaves, mammal blood, bone powder. Cook on low heat for 30 minutes. End product, yellow paste. Mix 1 gram into hot water before training. The system literally gave me a cooking tutorial. My psychic newspaper has DLC content now. What's next? A comments section. Something flickered in my brain, like maybe there's more to the system than I thought. But the idea slipped away before I could grab it. Filed under. Think about later when not lying in a 10 copper hotel room. Intel 5 confirmed what I feared. Breathing technique training burns massive calories. Need lots of meat and eggs. My current food budget is whatever I can find in the forest. This is going to be a problem. Intel 6 though? Pure comedy gold. Bardo found out his idiot son lost the notebook and got so angry that his infection got worse. Wound is now red, swollen, and leaking pus. 12 days to live. Down from 14 2 days ago. This man is killing himself with his own rage. I set the trap, but his personality is doing the actual murdering. Every time something goes wrong, he gets mad, which makes him sicker, which makes more things go wrong, which makes him madder. It's a beautiful self-destructive spiral, and I have front row seats. His Dr. Litton keeps telling him to go see the real doctor in Kula City. And Bardo's first question, every time, is, how much does it cost? 1 gold coin. That's the answer. 1 single gold coin to save his life. This man has dozens of gold coins. He's one of the richest people in town, but he'd rather die than pay a medical bill. I can practically hear the conversation. Doctor, sir, your wound is infected to the bone. It smells like death, and you have maybe 12 days. Barto. But how much does the other doctor cost? Doctor, 1 gold coin. Bardo. How much? Meanwhile, his butler, the one secretly banging his wife, remember, is getting screamed at daily and drowning his sorrows at the cheap tavern every night. A drunk, resentful butler with secrets? That's a tool I can use. Intel 9 was about Mrs. Merla being so inspired by meeting me that she went out hunting for handsome men that same night. I literally gave a human trafficker a midlife crisis just by having a nice face. I feel violated on a spiritual level. Someone bleached my soul. And the last one, the monster tracks outside town? Fake. Planted by the Thieves Guild to scare people. There's no monster. The whole panic. The curfew. The grain prices shooting up. Everyone afraid to leave. All manufactured by criminals for profit. This town is a circus, and I'm the only one who can see the strings. After processing everything, I finally let sleep take me. But across town, the circus was still performing. Bardo was lying in bed, sweating and feverish, screaming at his butler about the missing wallet. Poor butler is like, sir, we searched the entire field, checked every slave. It's gone. And Bardo's like, you're useless. You're wasting my money. Get out. Then the doctor unwrapped the bandages and, oh boy, red, swollen, oozing and stinking. Infection deep in the bone. The doctor basically said, go to Kula City or die, and Bardo's immediate response was, how much is the consultation fee? 1 gold coin, sir. The look on his face. You'd think someone asked him to donate a kidney. This man would rather rot from the feet up than spend 1 gold coin on survival. The same gold coin, by the way, that's currently sitting in my pocket. Poetic, isn't it? Meanwhile, at Casa de Barto, a comedy in 3 acts. Act 1, the cheapskate and the doctor. So Bardo's Dr. Litton tells him straight, go see Dr. Gavin in Kula City. 1 gold coin, and Bardo's face crumpled like someone punched him in the wallet. Can't we get a discount? And oh, you dying potato. You can't haggle with death. Litton explained that Gavin used to be a potion maker's apprentice. And in this world, the hierarchy goes. Knights are cool, Mages are cooler, but potion makers? They're basically gods. Even being a potion maker's student makes you royalty. 15 trainee knights came out of this town in 20 years, but 0 potion maker apprentices. That's how rare Gavin's background is. Bardo shut up real fast after hearing that, but then asked the most Bardo question possible. Are you sure you can't just fix it yourself? Litton suggested maybe a priest could heal him instead. But priests only heal people under special religious conditions, and you can't just throw money at them. So that's out too. Barto looked like a man choosing between his leg and his gold. Spoiler, the gold is winning. Act 2, Father and Son, a masterclass in disappointment. Bardo finally decided to go to Kula City, but since he doesn't trust anyone with his money, he needed his son Nim to escort him while he personally carried the gold coin. Control freak until death. Literally. So in comes Nim, stumbling drunk, reeking of booze, at his injured father's bedside. Father of the Year candidate meets Son of the Year candidate. Bardo told him the plan. Nim went, "Got it, Dad," with completely empty eyes. Barto, suspicious, "Repeat what I just said." Nim, "You want me to go to Kula City?" Barto, "And why am I going to Kula City?" Nim, Perhaps. Maybe." Long pause. "Sorry, Dad. I forgot." Bardo nearly stroked out right there. This man is running a fever, his foot smells like a sewer, and his firstborn son can't remember a sentence from 30 seconds ago. I almost feel bad. Almost. Kneel, and Nim dropped to his knees so smoothly, so practiced, it was clear this was a daily routine. This kid's knees have more floor time than a yoga instructor. Act 3, The Notebook Disaster. Barto, in full rage mode, demanded to see Nim's training notebook. Wanted to make him practice the wild wolf fist technique 1,000 times as punishment. Nim reached into his coat, patted around, reached again, froze. "Father, I think I lost my notebook." The silence that followed could have killed a man. Then Barto erupted. "You lost it? Garbage. Idiot. Why didn't you lose yourself instead?" And here's why he was really mad. That notebook wasn't just some school notes. It was a complete wild wolf breathing technique manual with sword skills, fist techniques, horse riding, spear work, and expert commentary from a veteran wolf knight. Street value? 20 gold coins minimum. Bardo had pulled serious strings to get it, and his drunk party boy son dropped it in a puddle of vomit. Nim tried to say, "Maybe it's at the bar, I'll go look," but before he could finish, Bardo's whole body seized up, his eyes rolled back, and he collapsed like a sack of angry potatoes. Father? Father, chaos. Absolute chaos in the Bardo household. Servants screaming. Doctor running. The man literally rage-quit consciousness. And where was I during all this beautiful destruction? Sleeping like a baby in my 10 copper hotel room. Next morning, I was up at dawn. Hit the general store the second it opened. No customers yet, nobody watching. Bought all the ingredients I needed for the nutrition potion and bounced straight to my stone house. Everything was untouched. Perfect. Nobody found my hideout. First thing I did, crawled under the stone bed, reached into the crack between the bed leg and the wall, and pulled out a little cloth bundle. My energy pearl. Still there. Still glowing green. Still worth more than everything Bardo's son has ever accomplished. So let's take inventory, shall I? I've got a breathing technique worth 20 gold coins, free, an energy pearl worth 5 gold coins, cost 15 copper, a wallet with over 1 gold coin, free, a potion recipe, free, and my enemy is lying in bed with a rotting foot, a cheating wife, a useless son, and 12 days to live. And the notebook that his son lost? The one worth 20 gold? The one that made Bardo so angry he literally fainted? It's under my pillow. I love this system. Energy pearl? Still hidden in the wall crack. Still safe. Still glowing. I exhaled so hard I nearly deflated. Next mission, the mystery drawer. I stared at that stone table for a solid minute before I noticed 4 tiny lines forming a rectangle. A secret drawer. In a table with no handle. Built by a wizard who apparently hated convenience. I spent 15 minutes wiggling my cooking knife into the crack, jiggling it back and forth like I was performing surgery on furniture. Finally got it open a thumb's width, grabbed it, and pulled. Inside, 1 item. A mask. That's it. No note. No instructions. No. Dear next tenant, here's how this works. Just a mask sitting there like it was waiting for someone to show up and be confused. I put it on. Nothing happened. Poked it. Shook it. Talked to it. Nothing. It's like a phone with no battery. Cool magical artifact, 0% charge. Filed under, figure out later. Now, potion time. And this is where I became the world's most ghetto chemist. Step 1. Bought 3 bottles of juice from town. Chugged 2 immediately. Not for science, just because I was thirsty. Kept the glass bottles. Step 2. Poked holes in the caps. Connected them with straws. Boom. Homemade distillation apparatus. Would a real alchemist cry looking at this? Absolutely. Do I care? Absolutely not. Step 3. Needed a scale. Can't buy one without raising suspicion. So I balanced a chopstick on a bottle, hung 2 teacups from string on each end, and used 2 5-denomination copper coins as weights. Each coin is exactly 10 grams. 20 grams total. I stared at my creation. A juice bottle seesaw with teacups dangling from thread. This is probably accurate. Maybe. Hopefully. Look, I'm not winning any science fairs, but I'm also not dying from an improperly measured potion, so we're calling this good enough. I spent the entire day on this. Boiled water, collected steam through my straw contraption, and after hours of babysitting bubbling glass bottles, finally got 100 grams of distilled water. Then weighed out honey, bone powder, mint leaves, all by copper coin teacup technology. Killed a gray rabbit I'd bought, collected exactly 30 grams of blood. Tried not to think too hard about the fact that I'm a former modern Earth human measuring rabbit blood with homemade teacup scales in a wizard's abandoned house. My life has taken turns. Then came the big moment. I placed the energy pearl into the iron pot with all the ingredients. Hands shaking, heart pounding. This pearl is worth 5 gold coins, and I'm cooking it in a pot I also use for porridge. Fire on. Stir constantly. Don't stop. Don't mess up. 30 minutes of nonstop stirring while the sun set, and my arm screamed for mercy. And then, it happened. The mixture thickened. Colors merged. Water evaporated. And sitting in my pot was a small glob of pale yellow paste. Like magical honey. Like liquid potential. Like hope in syrup form. I scraped every last drop into a bottle. Then added water to the residue still in the pot, because I am not wasting a single molecule of 5 gold coin paste. Filled 2 bottles, and had about 1 cup's worth left in the pot. My stomach growled. I hadn't eaten all day. Been so focused on playing mad scientist, I forgot to eat. Classic. Then I looked at the leftover potion in the pot and thought, well, it is a nutritional supplement. I drank it. First few seconds, nothing. Then my belly got warm. Then hot. Then this wave of energy rushed through my entire body like someone plugged me into a wall socket. The exhaustion? Gone. The weakness? Gone. I still felt hungry, but I felt alive. More alive than I'd felt since arriving in this world. Time to train. I whipped out Nim's notebook, found the first breathing technique exercise, a fist form, and started throwing punches. I looked ridiculous. My arms went one way, my legs went another. I moved like a broken marionette having a seizure. If anyone had been watching, they would have called a doctor, or laughed until they needed one. But I didn't stop. Punch after punch, breath after breath. Something about my soul traveler brain made me learn fast. I only needed to read each section a few times before it locked into memory. Within an hour, I'd memorized the whole sequence and tossed the notebook aside. The movements got smoother, faster. My fists started flowing instead of flailing. Breathe in through the nose like a wolf. Breathe out through the mouth. Let the body follow the breath. Let the breath follow the fists. By the time I finished the first full cycle, I was drenched in sweat, every muscle trembling. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely hold them up. But I could feel it. My body was stronger. Not by a lot, but noticeably, measurably, undeniably. Quick meal. Barely tasted it. Didn't care. Back to training. I punched and breathed and punched and breathed until the sky went dark and the stars came out, and my body screamed for mercy. Then, on the final movement of the final set, something cracked open inside me. Not painfully. More like a door opening. A surge of power erupted from my heart, spreading through my chest like warm blood mist, reaching every corner of my body. I stood there in the moonlight, dripping sweat, chest heaving, fists still clenched. And I knew. Night attendant. Achieved. One day of training. From 0 to night attendant in a single session. That energy pearl potion plus the breathing technique plus whatever mutant learning speed my transmigrated soul gave me. It all combined into the fastest night training speed run in the history of this world. Probably. I'm still at the bottom of the food chain. Night attendant is just step 1. I can't fight bears yet. I can't take on Bardo's guards. I definitely can't rescue my sister. But yesterday, I was a starving homeless kid with a pot and a dream. Today I have power growing inside me. And tomorrow? Tomorrow, I keep climbing. Let me explain the night leveling system real quick, because I just speed ran the tutorial. Normal person night, attendant trainee night, full night. To level up, you condense your blood energy step by step. Stage 1, blood mist. That's me right now. Stage 2, the mist becomes liquid. Stage 3, liquid becomes solid. Stage 4, the solid crystallizes into a life seed. And boom, you're a real knight. Most talented noble kids with good food and training? 2 weeks minimum to hit blood mist stage. I did it in 1 night. With a homemade potion cooked in a porridge pot using teacup scales and juice bottle lab equipment. Either I'm a genius, or this world's standards are embarrassingly low. Possibly both. I was so hyped I kept training through the night, without even noticing the campfire had died. Just punching air in total darkness like an absolute maniac. The wild wolf technique was so deeply memorized I could do it with my eyes closed. Which I literally was, because it was pitch black and I didn't care. Then, ding, midnight intel drop. New day, new secrets. Number 1. Wild cattail grass growing 2 kilometers southwest. Medicinal herb. Worth good money. The system is basically my personal treasure radar at this point. Number 2. Instructions for activating the mask. Another, click to expand button. That's twice now the system has given me expandable intel. And suddenly yesterday's half-formed thought came rushing back. Maybe these expandable entries aren't random. Maybe I can somehow influence what the system gives me. That's huge. I spent 20 minutes just sitting there brainstorming possibilities before forcing myself to move on. Number 3 through 5, Barto drama update. The old miser raged so hard he passed out for an entire day. He'll wake up this morning and send his son Nim to Kula City to fetch Dr. Gavin. But here's the beautiful part, Dr. Gavin isn't in Kula City. He's away studying in another town called Cons. Won't be back for half a month. And Barto has about 12 days. The math doesn't math, Barto. You're going to die waiting for a doctor who's on vacation. This is like ordering next day delivery and the warehouse is in another dimension. But I can't take chances. Even a slim hope of survival is too much hope for this man. He needs to stay dead on schedule. Number 4 told me Nim would ride through Clear Spring Forest tomorrow morning on his way to Kula City. Alone. On horseback. Through the woods. My brain immediately started calculating. Number 6. Butler Poke still hasn't found the wallet or the trap culprit. Getting screamed at daily. Now goes home drunk every night and curses Barto behind his back. The cracks in that household are becoming canyons. Number 7. Dr. Litton has decided to quit, whether Barto lives or dies. He's already prepping to open his own clinic and recruiting apprentices. Interesting. Very interesting. A doctor looking for helpers. Number 8. Litton forgot to pick up his daughter Lisa from school today. Poor kid got chased by a stray dog and got lost. She's trapped in an alley behind the Hippo Inn. That's sad. But also, an opportunity? If I happen to rescue the doctor's daughter. Yeah, I'm a terrible person, but a strategic terrible person. Numbers 9 and 10. The Thieves Guild is escalating. They've been planting fake monster tracks all around Kula City and nearby towns. The Night Order noticed and is now assembling a hunting party, pulling half the knights from every town to search Eagle Scream Forest. Which means the guild's real plan is something else entirely. While the knights are out chasing phantom monsters, guild members are sneaking into the now undefended Kula City looking for something. Or someone. This is way bigger than my little revenge plot. There's a whole criminal conspiracy unfolding, and I'm watching it from the intel bleachers with popcorn. But that's tomorrow's problem. Tonight, the mask. I rushed inside, picked up the mask, and read the expanded instructions. Needed blood and a magic activation phrase. Simple enough. I took my cooking knife, nicked my finger. Ow, squeezed out some blood, mixed it with a tiny bit of my precious nutrition paste, and carefully traced it along every groove and crevice on the mask. Top to bottom, left to right, one continuous line. Then I whispered the activation words. The mask lit up. Under the moonlight, hundreds of tiny wrinkles rippled across its surface like a stone dropped in a pond. Light pulsed through every groove. It looked alive. For a solid 30 seconds, it just shimmered and danced like liquid silver. Then it stopped, went smooth, perfectly polished, warm to the touch, like holding someone's hand. I picked it up, heart hammering, and pressed it to my face. It melted onto my skin. Not painfully, it just fit, like it was made for me. No edges, no gaps, no discomfort. Just a perfect second skin. I lit the oil lamp, held up my cooking knife blade to use as a mirror, and squinted at my reflection. And staring back at me was a woman. I had a woman's face. Full lips, softer jawline, completely different features. If my own mother were alive, she wouldn't recognize me. If Mrs. Merla saw me on the street, she'd walk right past. The alchemist's mask is a disguise, a magical face changer, and it just gave me the face of a random woman. I stood there for a long time, holding a knife mirror, wearing a lady face, standing shirtless in a wizard's abandoned stone house at 1 in the morning. This is either the most useful thing I've ever owned, or the beginning of the weirdest chapter of my life. Probably both. The plan is forming. Nem rides through the forest tomorrow. I have a disguise nobody can see through. I have fists that actually hit hard now. And I have 10 pieces of intel that are basically cheat codes for reality. Time to go hunting. But first, I need to figure out how to walk like a woman. Because right now I look like a lady lumberjack having a bad day. I touched my new face. Cool skin. Slightly rough. I could feel pores. Individual pores. On a magic mask. This alchemist was an absolute perfectionist. So here's the backstory on my new favorite toy. The mask is called Lorraine's Visage, and the story behind it is basically a fantasy romance novel. Harlington the alchemist had a wife named Lorraine. They were both magic users. He did alchemy. She did potions. Power couple goals. Then Lorraine died in some accident, and Harlington went full grief mode. Tried to resurrect her. Failed. Tried again. Failed again. Eventually gave up on the resurrection thing. But along the way he made a bunch of items dedicated to her memory, including this mask, a face changer that can store up to 9 different faces. His wife's face is the default. Sweet story, right? Heartbroken wizard makes a love memorial? Except, if he really wanted to forget, he could have destroyed the mask, thrown it in a river, fed it to a monster. But instead, he carefully placed it in a hidden drawer, installed a fresh energy stone to power it, and created an elaborate riddle-based activation sequence that basically forces whoever finds it to learn his entire love story before they can use it. Oh, I can't bear to look at it anymore. The memories are too painful, says the man who literally booby-trapped the mask with a romantic scavenger hunt so future strangers would remember his wife. Bro, you didn't want to forget. You wanted to become a legend. You wanted some random kid 200 years later to go, wow, Harlington really loved Lorraine. Mission accomplished, you dramatic old wizard. I salute your commitment to the bit. Lucky for me, the system just gave me the answer to his riddle puzzle, so I skipped about 6 months of detective work and activated it in 30 seconds. Sorry, Harlington, your elaborate love quest got speedrun cheated by a teenager with a psychic cheat code. But truly, thank you, old man. This mask is going to save my life. I bowed to the desk. Genuinely, you earned it. Now, time for phase 2 of operation. Make the Bardo family suffer. Next morning. Clear spring forest. A narrow path through the trees. According to my intel, Nim was riding through here on his way to Coolest City, carrying gold coins to pay Dr. Gavin. He was panicking because Litton had told everyone that Barto would die within a week if he didn't get real treatment. The old miser finally agreed to spend money. Only took him being on his literal deathbed. And Nim, useless party boy Nim, actually stepped up for once. He grabbed the coins and rode out at full speed, whipping his horse, genuinely worried. But not because he loves his dad. Oh no, he's worried because if Barto dies, who's going to run the family business? Who's going to squeeze money from slaves and steal from farmers? Nem can't do any of that. He needs daddy alive so he can keep drinking and doing nothing. His concern is purely financial. Father and son, united by greed, even in crisis. So there's Nim, galloping through the forest, praying to every god that his dad survives. Not noticing that the road ahead looked a little different. I tied a rope between 2 trees. Knee height. Practically invisible. The horse hit it at full speed. Front legs caught. Horse went down, and Nim launched off the saddle like a human cannonball. Flew through the air. Slammed into a tree trunk. Stupid. Horse, he groaned, staggering up, thinking he'd hit a pothole. He didn't hear me coming up behind him. One swing. Lights out. Nem crumpled like a puppet with cut strings. I checked he was breathing. Not because I'm merciful, but because a dead rich kid brings way more trouble than a robbed one. Then I searched his coat and pulled out a coin purse. I stood there in the quiet forest, wearing a middle-aged man's face courtesy of my magic mask, holding the Bardo family's second wallet in a week. Barto, thank you. From your family to mine. Dad sends a wallet. Son sends a wallet. At this rate, I should just set up direct deposit. The best part? Nem didn't see my real face. He didn't see any face. I knocked him out from behind. And even if someone finds him and asks what happened, all he can say is, I fell off my horse. Meanwhile, Dr. Gavin isn't even in Kula City. He's studying in cons and won't be back for 2 weeks. So even if Nim somehow gets another bag of money and completes the trip, the doctor's office will be closed. Barto is lying in bed with a rotting foot, no money, no doctor, and 1 week to live. And I just made sure his last rescue mission failed before it even started. Score update. Ron, everything. Bardo family, nothing. I checked Nim's breathing. Still alive. Good. Not because I'm a nice guy, because I'm a smart guy. See, if I just rob him, it's a random bandit case. The town guard shrugs, files a report, moves on. But if I kill a rich man's son, that's a murder investigation. Knights get deployed. Magic gets involved. In a world where people can literally sniff out criminals with supernatural abilities, leaving a body behind is basically signing your name at the crime scene. Besides, Nim is way more useful alive. He's stupid, predictable, and easy to manipulate. His dad is the dangerous one, and his dad is currently dying in bed from my poop trap, so priorities sorted. I cleaned up any traces, pocketed the coin purse, and vanished into the forest like a ghost in a discount Halloween costume. Back at the stone house, I opened the purse. 1 gold coin from Barto, meant to save his life, plus assorted silver and copper. Enough to eat meat every single day for a month. The Bardo family financial plan. Step 1, Dad drops wallet. Step 2, Son drops wallet. Step 3, profit. For me. Now, shopping time. But I can't just waltz into town as Ron Yeager, the broke orphan, and start buying steak in bulk. People would talk. So I ducked into an alley, slapped on my magic mask, pressed the forehead gem, and whispered, Harlington, boom. Middle-aged man face. Completely unrecognizable. The mask can hold 9 faces total. 2 are already loaded, Harlington and his wife Lorraine, with 7 empty slots for future use. Each transformation runs on the energy stone and lasts about 20 hours. Plenty of time. As Harlington, I strolled through the market like a tourist, hit up the general store for supplies, bought several sets of plain clothes at the tailor, because I've been wearing the same rags for almost 2 weeks and I smelled like a medieval science experiment. Then I hit the butcher shop and went wild. Pork, rabbit, whatever they had. Load me up. Total damage, 12 silver coins. If I'd done this as Ron, every shopkeeper in town would have been like, wait, isn't that the homeless orphan kid? Where'd he get money? But as a random middle-aged stranger, nobody blinked. Just another out-of-towner passing through. The town gates only check IDs coming in, not going out. Classic lazy security. I walked right past the guards carrying bags of meat and clothes, and they didn't even glance my way. Minimum wage workers, I muttered. Same energy in every universe. Back home, I cooked meat. Real meat. Mountains of it. Seasoning still limited to salt, but honestly, after 2 weeks of survival porridge, plain salted pork tasted like heaven's own barbecue. I'm still a growing teenager. Gotta eat big to get big. Can't become a knight on vegetables and sadness. Train some more after eating. The breathing technique was getting smoother every session. My body felt noticeably stronger, denser, more alive. Then, afternoon. Phase 3 of today's master plan. I headed back to town, specifically to the night academy. It was school release time, and according to this morning's intel, Dr. Litton forgot to pick up his 10-year-old daughter Lisa. Again, because he's been too busy dealing with Bardo's rotting foot and planning his career exit. Poor Lisa. She's this little kid whose dad is the only family doctor in the rich guy's mansion. Litton makes good money and loves his daughter. Sent her to the fancy academy so she'd get an education. Not expecting her to become a knight, just wanting her to be literate and capable. Good dad. Distracted dad. So Lisa walks out of school. No dad. Streets getting dark. And then, A massive hunting wolf dog comes sprinting down the road barking like it wants to eat the world. Lisa is terrified of dogs. She screamed and just ran. No direction, no plan, just pure panic sprinting. By the time she stopped, she was deep in a dead-end alley behind some buildings, shaking, alone, with no idea where she was. Every time she tried to leave, she heard barking and retreated back into the corner. Getting darker, getting colder. Scared little girl trapped in an alley. And then, a kind voice from the entrance. "Hey, little one, what are you doing in here?" She looked up. A teenager in simple clothes. Friendly face. Gentle smile. There's a dog outside." "Oh, that wolf dog? I chased it away already. You're safe now." That teenager was me. Obviously. Totally organic. Completely natural. Definitely not a calculated rescue engineered using psychic intelligence to earn the trust of a doctor I planned to recruit as an ally. Nope. Just a nice boy who happened to be in the right place at the right time. What a coincidence. Is the dog really gone? Little Lisa peeked out of the alley like a groundhog checking for shadows. Then her whole face lit up like Christmas morning. "It's gone. Thank you, big brother." And just like that, I had a new fan. She told me her name. I told her mine. Just Ron, keeping it simple, and within 30 seconds we were chatting like old friends. Kids are so easy. Not in a manipulative way. Okay, a little in a manipulative way, but also genuinely. She was cute and scared, and I'm not a monster. I'm a monster to specific people. There's a difference. "Can you walk me home? Please, please, please." Of course, so there I am, escorting a 10-year-old through the streets like the world's most strategic babysitter, heading straight to Dr. Litton's house. And there's Litton, pacing outside his front door like a man watching his life unravel. Turns out, and I love this, the reason he forgot Lisa today was because he got dragged to Bardo's house. Why? Because Enyem came home. That's right. My robbery victim stumbled back to town this afternoon, bruised, limping, horse dead. The horse actually died in the fall. Whoops. And wallet completely gone. Bardo heard the news and got so angry his condition worsened again. This man is a medical miracle in reverse. Every piece of bad news literally makes his infection worse. His immune system runs on mood, and his mood is in freefall. So Litton had to rush over, patch up Nem, deal with Bardo's breakdown. And by the time he finished, school was long over and his daughter was missing. Then he heard it. "Daddy, I'm back." Litton scooped Lisa up like she was made of glass and held her tight. I saw actual tears forming. This man genuinely loves his kid. Makes me feel slightly guilty about engineering this entire encounter for personal gain. Slightly. "Thank you, Ron. Truly." He said it with this deep, serious gratitude. Like I'd pulled his daughter from a burning building instead of just walking her 6 blocks. I did my best humble act. "Oh, it was nothing really." "Well, I should get going." "Wait. Please. Let me at least buy you dinner." I pretended to resist. He insisted. Lisa grabbed my hand and literally dragged me inside. I'm a very convincing, reluctant guest. Dinner was amazing. Litton cooked some dishes himself, and the rest. He ordered delivery. This medieval world has takeout from restaurants. Delivery service. I've been eating salt-flavored sadness for 2 weeks, and this man is casually ordering medieval DoorDash. Over food, we talked. Litton remembered my father. Even treated him once before he died. He got awkward, started apologizing for bringing it up. I played the brave orphan card, gave him a sad smile. His hatred for Bardo visibly increased. I could see it in his eyes. This doctor was mentally composing his resignation letter right now. Then things got interesting. We started talking about, well, everything. Medicine, science, the world. And Litton's jaw kept dropping because apparently, having knowledge from a modern civilization makes you sound like a genius in a medieval fantasy world. I casually dropped medical insights that blew his mind. Stuff that's basic health class back on Earth, but sounds revolutionary here. "Ron, you have extraordinary intelligence. With proper education, you could achieve great things." I gave a self-deprecating laugh. "Maybe, but first I need to, not starve to death." And I saw the light bulb go on behind his eyes. "What if you stayed here for a while?" "At my house?" I acted surprised. Then tempted. Then hesitant. Then conflicted. Oscar-worthy performance. 4 emotions in 3 seconds. Oh no, I couldn't possibly impose. Then Litton spilled his whole plan. He's quitting Bardo's employment. Opening a private clinic. Needs an apprentice or assistant. Someone smart. Someone he can trust. Someone exactly like the miraculous teenager who just happened to save his daughter tonight. What? A coincidence? Well, if you put it that way. I do need a job, then it's settled, and just like that, I have a roof, a mentor, a cover story, a legitimate income, a connection to the medical world, and a path toward learning about potions, herbs, and everything else a future knight/alchemist/revenge machine needs to know. Let's review what happened today. Morning, robbed Nim, took his gold. Midday, bought a month's worth of supplies using a magic disguise. Afternoon, trained my breathing technique. Evening, rescued a little girl from a dog that was already leaving, walked her home, charmed her father over dinner, and got recruited as a doctor's apprentice. Total cost, 0. Total gain, money, supplies, shelter, job, ally, and a front row seat to watch the Bardo family collapse from the inside. I'm starting to think this system isn't just giving me information. It's giving me the entire chessboard. I said goodnight to Litton and Lisa like a wholesome, well-mannered young man. Litton watched me leave thinking, what a proud, dignified kid. Probably worried about where I'm sleeping tonight. Adorable. Don't worry about me, Doc. I've got a wizard's house and a revenge plan. 2 streets away, I ducked into an alley. A middle-aged stranger came out. Mask on. Next target, Butler Poke. I walked into the pirate tavern and was immediately hit by a wall of stink. Booze, sweat, burnt meat, and what I can only describe as medieval man cave. Downstairs was pure chaos. Drunks yelling, drunks fighting, drunks bragging about fights they never had. Upstairs was the quiet zone for people who wanted to drink their sadness in peace. I grabbed a cheap wheat beer and a sausage sandwich at the bar, got a blend in, and scanned the room. Not downstairs. So I headed up. Found him. Southwest corner. Poke the butler, slumped in a chair, hammered out of his mind, whispering angry threats to nobody. Stupid Barto. Treats me like a dog. One day I'll take everything you have. My man was doing drunk villain monologues in public. Incredible operational security from the guy who's sleeping with his boss's wife. I sat 2 tables away, casually eating my sandwich, watching him through my beer mug like a medieval spy movie. He had 0 awareness. Didn't notice me. Didn't notice anything. Just kept ordering drinks until he face-planted on the table and started snoring. I finished my last bite, stood up, walked past his unconscious body, and, with the lightest touch in human history, slipped a letter into his coat pocket. A letter I'd spent considerable time writing. Then I left. Ghost mode. Gone. 30 minutes later, the bartender shook Poke awake. He stumbled home, started undressing, and something fell out of his pocket. A letter. Sealed. No name on it. He opened it. Read the first line. Mr. Poke, I'm sure you wouldn't want Master Barto to learn that young Lola is actually your child with Mrs. Grace, would you? I would have paid 10 gold coins to see his face at that moment. I bet his drunk evaporated faster than water on a hot pan. The letter demanded 100 gold coins. Hush money. 2 days to collect. Tell nobody, or the secret goes straight to Barto. Now 100 gold coins is insane money. I know Poke doesn't have it. After years of working under the cheapest man alive, he's only saved up about 10 gold coins. Barto micromanages every coin in that household, checks every receipt, audits every ledger. Skimming is nearly impossible. But here's the beautiful part. Poke can't refuse. If Barto finds out his wife has been sleeping with the butler and his youngest son isn't even his, Poke is a dead man. Not metaphorically. Barto would literally have him killed. So what's Poke going to do? Exactly what I predicted. Run to Grace, Barto's wife. Because SHE has access to the family money, and SHE has just as much to lose. Now Poke and Grace have to secretly collaborate to gather 100 gold coins while Barto lies in bed with a rotting foot, a missing wallet, a beaten son, a lost breathing manual, and approximately 9 days to live. The chaos I'm injecting into this household is surgical. Every person in that family is now working against each other. Barto's dying. Nim's useless. The butler's being blackmailed. The wife's about to panic. The doctor's quitting. And they don't even know it's all one teenage kid pulling every string. Meanwhile, I'm back at my stone house, drinking nutrition potion and throwing punches in the moonlight. My blood energy is condensing faster than expected. At this rate, I'll hit the liquid stage in maybe 3 days. This potion is absurdly powerful. And it's not even a real magical potion. It's the budget recipe. The fact that even this amateur version has such crazy effects explains why real potion makers are treated like royalty in this world. I trained until midnight. Then, ding, new intel incoming. Let me check what fresh chaos the universe has prepared for me today. Score update. Enemies blackmailed. 1 gold coins demanded. 100 marriages about to implode. 1 training speed. Ridiculous sandwiches consumed during espionage. 1 Ron Yeager, signing off from another productive day of multitasking revenge, self-improvement, and strategic sandwich eating. Midnight intel drop. Let's see what's cooking in the Bardo cinematic universe. Number 1. Bardo has 5 days to live. Down from 12 a few days ago. Every time something bad happens, his body just gives up a little more. It's like his immune system is checking the news and going, nope, I'm out. My poop trap set off a chain reaction of rage-induced medical decline that is honestly impressive. I should publish a paper. The therapeutic effects of emotional devastation on infected wounds. But 5 days is still too long. Every day this man breathes is a day he might find some miracle cure. He's rich, desperate, and cornered. That's when people get creative. I need to keep the pressure on. Number 2 made my ears perk up. Bardo's thinking about his will. Splitting up his property and secret gold stash. This man has been hiding coins somewhere like a medieval squirrel, and now that he feels death knocking, he's finally sorting out who gets what. Filing this under things the system will probably tell me about soon. If I play my cards right, that stash becomes MY stash. Numbers 3 and 4. Nem tried again. This time he took guards and used the main road. Learned his lesson about forest shortcuts, smart boy. But when he got to Kula City, Dr. Gavin, gone for 2 weeks. Church priests, sorry, we don't do charity healing for random farmers. Door after door, slammed in his face. I almost feel bad. Almost. Then I remember his dad stole my house and tried to sell me to a predator. Feeling passes real quick. Number 5. Mrs. Merla visited Barto to check on him. Translation, she's sniffing around the dying man's estate like a vulture in lipstick. Probably asking about their slave trading deals. Making sure her money is secured before he kicks it. These two deserve each other so much it's almost romantic. Don't worry, Merla. Your turn is coming right after his. Now, numbers 6, 7, and 8. This is where things got complicated. Poke received my blackmail letter and did exactly what I predicted. Panicked, investigated, found nothing, and ran to Grace. And Grace did exactly what a guilty woman married to a dying tyrant would do. She called her brother. Her brother is named Guavas. He's the squad captain of the town's law enforcement. And he's a justice knight. That's not ideal. Let me explain the knight rankings real quick. There are 10 levels. The bottom 3, knight attendant, that's me, baby tier, trainee knight, 1 step up, and justice knight, which people casually call official knight. Justice knight is registered with the kingdom, certified, and dangerous. In my little town, there are maybe 100 knight attendants. Basically gym bros who can punch hard. Under 20 trainee knights. And justice knights? I'd bet my entire gold coin collection there are fewer than 5 in this whole town. So Grace's brother is literally in the top 5 strongest people in Hippo Town. And he's about to get involved in the blackmail situation I created. Cool. Everything's fine. But, deep breath, I've been careful. Every move I've made has been through the mask. No fingerprints, no witnesses, no trails. And unless this knight has some kind of magical CSI forensics ability, there's nothing connecting random blackmail letter to teenage orphan living in a stone house. Still, I'm noting this. A justice knight on the radar means I need to be extra cautious with every step from here. Numbers 9 and 10. Litton's opening his clinic in 5 days and wants me as his assistant. Perfect timing. And he needs fresh wild cattail grass for his medicines. The exact herb that my intel from 2 days ago said grows 2 kilometers from my house. You see how this works? The system told me about the cattail grass before I knew Litton needed it. It's like the universe is preloading my side quests. So here's my plan. Show up at Litton's door with a bundle of rare medicinal herbs. Blow his mind. Secure the job. Move into town with a legitimate cover identity. And then quietly continue dismantling the Barto Empire from the inside. Meanwhile, across town, Poke woke up looking like a zombie. Didn't sleep all night. Spent every hour trying to figure out who sent the letter. His detective work so far? He figured out the letter was planted at the tavern. Groundbreaking analysis, Sherlock. He's narrowed the suspect list to everyone at the tavern that night, which is like half the town. He can't ask around without drawing attention. He can't tell Barto. He can't ignore it. So his big brain theory is, the blackmailer must be someone inside the Barto household. Someone high-ranking who would know about me and Grace. He's looking inward, looking at his co-workers, suspecting the people around him, which means the Barto household is about to eat itself alive with paranoia. I planted one letter, and this family is disintegrating like a sandcastle in a hurricane. 5 days until Barto dies. 5 days until Litton's clinic opens. Maybe 3 days until my blood energy hits liquid stage. Everything is converging. Every thread I've been pulling is tightening at the same time. And somewhere in town, Poke is staring at his reflection in a mirror, bags under his eyes, trying to figure out who's blackmailing him. Buddy, the answer is a 15-year-old kid in a wizard's house who cooked a magic potion in a porridge pot using teacup scales. You never stood a chance. Now, I wasn't physically there for any of this, but thanks to my intel system, I can piece together exactly what went down in the Barto household today. And let me tell you, it's better than any soap opera ever written. Act 1. Detective Poke's big investigation. So Poke woke up looking like a raccoon, dark circles, bloodshot eyes, zero sleep, and decided to go full Sherlock Holmes. His suspect list? 3 people: the guard captain, Grace's personal maid, and the carriage driver. Anyone inside the household who might have stumbled onto his little secret romance. He went at each of them, chatted casually, dropped hints, watched their faces for any flicker of guilt. The guard captain? Clueless. Already heading out with Nim for round 2 of Please Save My Dad. This time with actual bodyguards because someone robbed Nim on the forest path last time. Wonder who that was. Definitely not me. Moving on. The carriage driver? Poke stared the man down like a poker player looking for a tell. The driver just stood there confused, wondering why the boss's right-hand man was suddenly making eye contact and being friendly. That alone almost blew Poke's cover. Apparently he's normally so cold to the servants that basic politeness registered as suspicious behavior. Result: nothing. 0 leads. Both guys were genuinely clueless, which left only one possibility in Poke's mind. The leak came from Grace's side. Act 2. The world's worst timing. So Poke marched over to Grace's room, had a maid announce him, walked in all serious and professional. Grace came downstairs, confused. She's about 35, wearing expensive clothes, moving with what I can only describe as aggressively flirtatious body language, even on the staircase. This woman treats every entrance like a runway walk. Why are you here? It's daytime, she whispered, which sounds like a normal question but actually meant, our scheduled cheating hours are at night. Poke. Read the calendar. Poke played it cool. Said Barto sent him to ask about their youngest son Lola's schoolwork, which was already a suspicious excuse because Barto gave up on Lola years ago. The kid is apparently so slow he couldn't count his own fingers at age 7. Barto poured all his hopes into Nim instead, and we all know how that investment is performing. Grace caught Poke's winking signal. Oh, not actually hear about the kid. Got it. She dismissed all the maids. Go clean something. Don't come back until I call. Classic move. Subtle as a sledgehammer, but the maids are too scared to question it. They went upstairs. Poke locked the door, turned around to deliver the urgent news about the blackmail letter and their family being in danger and needing to formulate a plan, and Grace jumped him. Full tackle, arms around neck, kissing him before he could say a single word. Oh, Poke, you naughty man, coming in the daytime? You must really want me. Well, who am I to refuse? This woman. Her husband is dying downstairs. Her lover just came upstairs to discuss a blackmail crisis that could get them both killed. And her first instinct is to make out. Poke came to talk about 100 gold coin extortion. Grace thought it was a booty call. I cannot make this stuff up. The system gives me intel, and the intel gives me comedy gold. Meanwhile, I'm sitting in my stone house, training my breathing technique, getting stronger by the hour, watching this entire household implode through my daily information feed like it's a reality show with a new episode every midnight. Nim is on his way to Coolest City with guards, where he'll discover the doctor is gone and the church won't help. Dead end. Barto is rotting in bed with 5 days left, screaming at everyone. Poke is getting smooched when he should be strategizing. Grace. And me? I'm just a humble orphan boy, doing my exercises, minding my business, definitely not the architect of all this chaos. The Bardo family doesn't need enemies. They are their own enemies. I'm just providing gentle encouragement. So while I was off being productive, the Bardo household was putting on a telenovela marathon. First, the Poke and Grace scene. According to my intel reconstruction, Poke barged into Grace's room ready to discuss the existential crisis of being blackmailed for 100 gold coins. He locks the door, turns around, opens his mouth to deliver urgent news, and Grace tackles him like a linebacker. Full body, lips first. Ooh, you naughty boy, coming in the daytime? Can't wait until tonight. Poke is standing there trying to discuss potential murder consequences, and this woman thinks it's a surprise date. He had to physically dodge her. Like a matador. She came at him again, and he's literally holding her at arm's length going, "Stop. I have news." Actual news. When he finally managed to explain the blackmail letter, her face went from bedroom eyes to funeral in about half a second. Blood drained right out. Suddenly she's all business. They interrogated her maids. Tested Poke suspects. Found nothing. Nobody knows anything. Which made them both even more terrified, because that means the blackmailer is a complete ghost. Grace's solution? Call Big Brother. The Justice Knight. She pulled out the "My brother will fix everything" card, and Poke finally exhaled for the first time in 24 hours. They started scheming together about how to handle this, which is exactly what I wanted. Two panicked co-conspirators burning energy on a threat they can't identify, while their household crumbles around them. Meanwhile, in Bardo's bedroom, another visitor. Mrs. Merla showed up, took one look at the half-dead miser, and mentally crossed him off her business partner list. But she wasn't there out of sympathy. She was there because apparently their slave trafficking operation has clients. Big ones. In Kula City. The important people need slaves, and Barto and Merla are the suppliers. So this goes deeper than I thought. It's not just two scumbags running a side hustle. They're filling orders for powerful people in the city. Bardo promised he'd speed up converting free citizens into slaves before he dies. Even on his deathbed, this man's last act is going to be ruining people's lives. Merla smiled that fake smile and basically said, "Don't disappoint the clients, or else." Then she walked out, probably already shopping for Bardo's replacement. These people are absolute filth. And the deeper I dig, the more filth I find. It's like pulling weeds and discovering the entire garden is built on a landfill. Now, my part of the day, the fun part. I, accidentally, bumped into Lytton at the market. Total coincidence. Completely unplanned. Except for the part where I knew exactly when and where he'd be shopping because my system told me 3 days ago. "Oh, Lytton, what are you doing here?" He was shopping for medical supplies but couldn't find fresh cattail grass anywhere. All the hunters and herb collectors are too scared of the monster to go outside the walls. Every shop was sold out. Poor Lytton looked so defeated. He needs these herbs for his new clinic. Without them, he can't make his medicines. His dream is stalling before it even starts. I let him vent for a bit. Then, with the timing of a professional actor, I slowly reached behind my back. Lytton, did you say cattail grass?" "Yes, why?" I swung my pack around, opened it up, and inside was a beautiful bundle of fresh, dirt on the roots, morning dew still glistening cattail grass. Picked it up at dawn from that patch 2 kilometers southwest of my stone house. The one the system told me about days before I even knew Lytton needed it. His face lit up like a kid on Christmas. That's exactly what I need. And then I watched the math happen behind his eyes. He mentioned needing herbs. I showed up with herbs. Which means this kid went out into dangerous monster territory at the crack of dawn just to help him. "Ron, did you go out there?" For me, I did my bashful thing. Looked at my feet. Shuffled. It was nothing, really. His eyes got misty. This grown man almost cried over cattail grass. He thinks I'm the most selfless teenager in the world. In reality, I picked those herbs on my way back from training this morning, and the monster out there is fake, planted by the Thieves Guild. Zero danger. Maximum emotional impact. He tried again to get me to move into his house. I refused. He noticed my clothes were thin. The weather's getting cold. I told him I'd been sleeping on the street since my money ran out. That was a lie. I have gold coins, a stone house, and a magic face-changing mask. But Lytton doesn't know that, and watching him worry about me is building the exact relationship I need. He sighed the sigh of a man who's adopted an orphan in his heart, but the orphan won't come inside. "Don't worry, Doc. In a few days you'll open your clinic, officially hire me, and I'll graciously accept your help like I wasn't engineering this entire friendship from day one. The cattail grass, by the way, probably worth a few silver coins. I gave it for free. Investment in the future. Returns, immeasurable. So I moved into Litton's place. Well, his storage shed. But hear me out. This shed is a brick and stone mini lab he built years ago. Insulated. Quiet. Private. No one bothers me back there. It's perfect for secret midnight training sessions. The man accidentally gave me a personal gym with a door that locks. Litton even paid me for the cattail grass. 15 silver coins. Market premium because of the monster scare supply shortage. I tried to refuse. Gotta maintain the humble orphan brand. But he literally forced the coins into my hand. No, you will take this money. One thing is one thing. And you know what? That hit me. This guy is genuinely good. He could have taken the herbs for free. I'm a homeless kid living in his shed. Who's going to argue? But he insisted on the highest market price. No tricks. No guilt trips. No, I'll pay you later. I had originally planned to use Litton purely as a cover identity. A tool. Get the job, get the address, move on. But the man keeps being annoyingly decent. He gave me shelter, paid me fairly, treats me like a person, not a chess piece. So I'm adjusting the plan. Litton gets moved from the expendable asset column to the actually protect this guy column. It's a short list. Him and Alice. That's it. Anyway, afternoon. Litton left to pick up Lisa from school. On time today, good job, Doc. The second he was gone, I slipped out the back, ducked into an alley, mask on, and became middle-aged stranger guy again. I walked into a flower shop. Yes, a flower shop. Not for flowers, for their delivery service. Hi there. I'm a friend of Mr. Poke, the butler at the Bartow estate. We're having a little get-together tonight. Could you send over some barbecue food and beer? Oh, and please deliver this letter with it. Here's a generous tip, 50 copper coins. Way more than necessary. The clerk's eyes went wide. Sure, the deliver a mystery letter with food request was a bit weird, but 50 copper buys a lot of, don't ask questions. She pocketed the tip and smiled like I'd made her whole week. I went home, played with Lisa when she got back. She's obsessed with having me as a neighbor, which is adorable. Had dinner with the family, and waited. Meanwhile, across town, Poke gets home from another soul-crushing day of being screamed at by a dying man. Knock on the door. Delivery guy with food and beer. Your friend ordered this for you. Oh, and here's a letter. Friend? Letter? I wish I could have seen it. That moment when his brain connected the dots. His face probably went through 17 emotions in 2 seconds. He slammed the door, locked it, ripped open the letter, and read, Mr. Poke, I'm so disappointed in you. You told someone else about our little secret? Grace is understandable. She's part of it. But Guavas? A law enforcement officer? A justice knight? Well then, I think our deal is over. I'll be taking my information to a new business partner instead. Perhaps. Mr. Bartow himself? Goodbye, Poke. Best of luck. Boom. Nuclear bomb. Dropped directly on this man's sanity. Think about what just happened from Poke's perspective. He and Grace had a secret meeting this morning. Behind locked doors. Maids dismissed. Nobody else in the room. They whispered about contacting Grace's brother Guavas. And by evening, the blackmailer already knew about it. Every detail. Like he was listening through the walls. He wasn't. I just had the intel before they even made the decision. The system told me last night what they'd do today. I wrote the second letter before they even had the meeting. But Poke doesn't know that. To Poke, this blackmailer is omniscient. All-seeing. All-knowing. Inescapable. And now the blackmailer is threatening to tell Bartow everything. Poke is spiraling. Panicking. Ready to run. Packing his bags. Every second that passes is a second closer to Bartow finding out and ordering his execution. But then, he stopped. Something made him freeze at the door. What stopped him? I don't know yet. But I can guess. Running means abandoning Grace and little Lola. His secret son. The kid he can never publicly claim. A man can run from a lot of things. But running from your own child? That's a different equation. And that, my friends, is exactly the kind of emotional leverage that makes blackmail so effective. I didn't just threaten his life. I trapped him between his survival instinct and his love for his son. I'm 15 years old, and I'm running psychological warfare campaigns that would make a spy agency proud. Should I feel bad? Nah. These people sell humans for a living. I'll feel bad when they stop being monsters. So, current status of the Bartow household. Bartow, dying, 5 days left, rotting foot, missing wallet, lost breathing manual, betrayed by everyone around him without knowing it. Nem, robbed, bruised, heading to Kula City for a doctor who isn't there. Grace, panicking about blackmail, calling her night brother for help. Poke, about to have a full mental breakdown at his front door with a packed bag. Merla, circling like a vulture, pressuring Barto about slave quotas for mysterious, important people. And me? I'm in my cozy new room, eating dinner with a kind doctor and his cute daughter, planning my next move, getting stronger every hour. Checkmate in 5 days. I wasn't there. I didn't see any of it. But when tomorrow's intel drops, I'm pretty sure it's going to read like a crime novel written by a lunatic. Here's what I think happened, based on what I already know about these people and the chain of events I set in motion. Poke read my second letter and lost it. Completely. The man was already running on no sleep, maximum paranoia, and the sudden realization that his blackmailer is apparently a mind-reading ghost who knows things before they happen. So what did Poke do? He stormed over to Grace's room. Didn't even try to be sneaky this time. Just marched in and told the maids to get Grace. No pretense. No, I'm here about the kid's homework. Full panic mode. And when he got inside, he dropped the bomb. Grace, I'm going to kill Barto. Now, imagine being Grace in this moment. You met with this man this morning to calmly discuss blackmail strategy. 6 hours later, he's back, wild-eyed, waving a letter, talking about murder. He gave her 2 options, run away as a family, or kill Barto tonight and steal everything. Sounds reasonable, right? 2 solid choices? Wrong. Because Poke wasn't actually offering 2 choices. He'd already decided. His eyes were screaming, murder, and everything else was just decoration. The man was in full cornered animal mode. And Grace? Grace is smart. Way smarter than Poke ever gave her credit for. She looked at this panicking, sweating, unhinged man and did the coldest calculation I've ever heard of. She said yes. Okay, let's kill Barto. Poke smiled. Finally, they were on the same page. They got ready. He walked to the door, reached for the handle, and Grace picked up an iron candlestick and caved in the back of his skull. 1, 2, 3 hits. Kept going. Didn't stop until the man who fathered her child was very, very dead on her bedroom floor. Then she cleaned up, called in her 2 personal maids, terrified them into silence with threats about her Justice Night brother, had them bring a carpet, rolled Poke up like a human burrito, dug a hole in the courtyard, and buried him. 1 hour. No witnesses except 2 servants who'll take this secret to their graves out of pure terror. New carpet on the floor. Blood mopped up. Room looks brand new. If anyone asks, Poke left after dinner. Cold. Ice cold. Sub-zero. And here's the thing. Grace wasn't being impulsive. She was being logical. Her calculation went like this. 1. Barto finds out about the affair. He can only kill Poke. He can't touch Grace or Lola because her brother is a Justice Knight. Barto literally married her for political protection. He needs her family connections more than she needs him. So the worst case for Grace? Divorce. Losing some money. Being kicked out. Bad, but survivable. 2. Poke's plan to murder Barto tonight was suicide. There are 10 night-level guards in the house. 2 normal people with a candlestick aren't sneaking past that. Plus Nim would be back from Kula City tomorrow asking questions. The plan was garbage. 3. If she waited 1 more day for her brother to arrive, they could have done it properly, with a Justice Knight backing them up. But Poke was too far gone. Too scared. Too crazy. He would have charged into Barto's room tonight and gotten them all killed. Or worse, gotten caught halfway and exposed everything. So Grace did what Grace does. She protected herself and her son. Poke was the loose cannon. Loose cannons get silenced. Poke, if you just waited 1 more day. She actually felt bad about it. He was her lover, the father of her child. But between her feelings and her survival, survival won. Every time. I have to admit, I did not see this coming. I expected Poke to panic. I expected him to go to Grace. I expected chaos. But I thought the chaos would be aimed at Barto, not at Poke himself. Grace killed my blackmail target before I could collect a single coin. On one hand, I just lost 100 gold coins I was never going to collect anyway. That letter was always about pressure, not profit. On the other hand, the Barto household's head butler is now buried in the backyard. His killer is sleeping upstairs, and nobody knows except 2 terrorized maids and me. The dominoes are falling faster than I set them up. I pushed one piece, and the whole board is rearranging itself in ways even my system couldn't predict. Let me take stock. Barto, dying, 5 days left, doesn't know his wife killed his butler. Pope, dead, buried in the yard, by the woman he loved. Grace, now a murderer, waiting for her night brother to arrive and fix everything. Nim, somewhere on the road to Kula City, chasing a doctor who isn't there. Merla, circling the dying estate like a perfumed vulture. And me? I'm in my cozy little brick room behind Litton's house, training my breathing technique, eating meat, getting stronger, and watching an entire family destroy itself from the inside out. I wrote 2 letters. 2. Total cost, some paper, some ink, and a 50 copper tip to a flower shop clerk. Result: 1 man dead, 1 woman radicalized, 1 household in secret civil war, and a dying patriarch who has no idea his empire is already gone. I'm starting to scare myself. Nah, they deserve every bit of it. Good night, Poke. Say hi to Karma for me. After dinner, I played with Lisa for a bit. She's growing on me, the little gremlin, then grabbed a pot of hot water and retreated to my room. Door locked, curtains drawn. Time to be secretly awesome. I'd split my assets this morning like a proper criminal mastermind. Half my money in nutrition paste, on me. Other half, hidden at the stone house, wedged behind the bed leg against the wall in the most unreachable spot imaginable. You'd have to be a contortionist with a death wish to find it. The stone house is now my backup safe house. If everything goes wrong in town, I vanish into the woods. If everything goes right, it's just free storage. Either way, always have an escape route. Rule number 1 of being a revenge-driven transmigrator in a medieval fantasy world. My new room is perfect for training. Litton and Lisa sleep upstairs in the main building, 10 meters away. Litton's too polite to barge in uninvited, and by this point my wild wolf technique is so smooth I can throw full power combos without making a sound. Silent, deadly punching. Like a ninja having a workout. I thought about Alice, my sister, still enslaved at the Sal family house. Her buyback contract is brutal, 10 times the sale price, and it has to happen within 3 years or the price keeps doubling with no ceiling. That's 2 gold coins minimum. I have 2 gold coins, but I can't use them without explaining where a homeless orphan got that kind of money while Bardo and Merla are still watching me. Sorry, Alice. Just a little longer. I'm coming, fists clenched. Back to training. Harder. Faster. The blood mist inside my chest was getting thicker by the hour, almost ready to condense into liquid droplets. 1 more stage, and I'm a mid-level night attendant. Then midnight. Ding. And this batch of intel? Oh, this batch was the motherlode. Number 1 and 2. Bardo had a little existential crisis after Merla's visit. He's now made 2 plans. If Nim brings back Dr. Gavin, great. Keep living, keep slaving. If not, write a will and distribute everything to his sons. Number 3 made me sit up so fast I almost punched the ceiling. Bardo's assets. Click TO expand. Secret gold locations. Click TO expand. I smashed those mental buttons. For types of business, farmland outside town, rental properties inside town, shares in several shops, and the underground slave trade. The businesses? Don't care. Can't touch them. Too public, too complicated, too traceable. But the gold stashes? 3 locations. A hidden room behind his study, a small abandoned house in the Commoner district, and a nameless safety deposit box at the Kula City Bank. 3 hiding spots. Over 100 gold coins total, plus other valuables. This paranoid, penny-pinching, dying old man has been hoarding treasure like a dragon with trust issues. 3 locations. 3 backup plans. Cunning Rabbit has 3 burrows, as the old saying goes. Too bad the rabbit is about to die, and the fox knows where every burrow is. I'm already planning the heist. The second Bardo stops breathing, I'm emptying every stash before anyone else even knows they exist. Number 4 killed my good mood instantly. Even from his deathbed, Barto is still trying to enslave more free citizens. Specifically me. He and Merla are getting desperate. Their Kula City clients need slaves, and the supply is short. So they're going to force the issue. This man has days to live, and his final act on Earth is going to be ruining innocent people's lives. Not repenting, not making peace, not hugging his sons, enslaving people, on his deathbed, with a rotting foot, while his wife murdered his butler in the next room. You know what? I was going to let the infection finish him. Natural causes. Clean hands. But if he's coming after me and other free citizens with his last breath, then I need to accelerate the timeline. This man dies sooner. Number 6 confirmed what I suspected. Poke is dead. Grace bashed his head in with a candlestick. Buried him under a tree in the courtyard. Exactly the kind of cold-blooded calculation I'd expect from a woman who married for power and cheated for pleasure. But here's a fun bonus. Number 7. Poke, paranoid genius that he was, had a backup plan in case Grace refused to cooperate. He'd rented a hotel room, stashed a horse and carriage, and hidden his personal savings there, ready to flee solo if things went south. Things went very south. But Poke went underground instead of out of town. 6 feet underground, specifically. And now his escape fund is just sitting there, in a hotel room, unclaimed. Location provided by my system with a helpful click to expand. Don't mind if I do. Number 8. Grace's brother Guavas, the Justice Knight, is coming today. They're going to discuss body disposal, and here's the kicker. They're also planning to kill Barto. Grace decided Poke's murder plan was actually correct, just poorly timed. With her Knight brother handling security, they can do it properly. So now there are 2 separate plots to kill Barto. Mine, infection acceleration, and Grace's, brother with a sword. We're not coordinating. We don't know about each other. It's like 2 assassins accidentally booking the same target on the same weekend. Number 9. Litton resigns tomorrow. Clinic opens the day after. My legitimate identity goes fully online in 48 hours. Number 10. The Thieves Guild narrowed their search to the coolest city cathedral. Whatever they're looking for is in there. Big things happening in the background that I'm not involved in yet. Keyword, yet. Alright. Status update. Gold stashes, mapped. 3 locations memorized. Poke's escape fund, located. Free money. Barto, for days to live, maybe less if I help. Grace, murderer, waiting for her Knight brother to finish the job. Merla, still hunting slaves, still on my kill list. Alice, still enslaved, but rescue is getting closer. Me, getting stronger every hour, surrounded by chaos I created, and sitting on more intelligence than every spy agency in this world combined. The pieces are all on the board. The endgame is starting. And somewhere under a tree in Grace's courtyard, Poke is learning the hard way that in this family, nobody gets a happy ending. Except me. I'm getting all the happy endings. Okay, so let me walk you through my morning. I woke up, had breakfast with Litton and Lisa like a normal, wholesome teenager, and then committed 3 separate acts of genius before lunch. Act 1, the letter. Litton left to drop Lisa at school and hand Barto his resignation letter. The second he was gone, I was out the door. Mask on. New face. Different restaurant this time. Can't use the same delivery service twice. That's amateur criminal 101. I sent another letter to Barto's house. But this time, I prepaid for the food. Because I know Barto. If someone shows up with a cash-on-delivery meal, this dying cheapskate would rather starve than pay. The man is literally rotting alive, and he'd still refuse to spend money on breakfast he didn't order. What was in the letter? Oh, I'll get to that. It's beautiful. Act 2, the heist. Remember Poke's escape fund? The hotel room with his life savings hidden on top of a wardrobe? The stash he'd prepared in case he needed to flee? Well, Poke's not fleeing anywhere. He's composting under Grace's tree, and his money is just sitting there. I walked into the hotel wearing Harlington's face. Calm. Confident. I'd like a room, please. Can I see what's available? The clerk showed me around. I deliberately looked at several rooms before, choosing the exact one where Poke's stash was hidden. This one's nice. I'll take it. Paid in copper. Sent the clerk away. Locked the door. Grabbed a stool. Climbed up to the wardrobe. Reached into the dead corner between the cabinet top and the wall. And there it was, a small wooden box. Inside, 10 gold coins. Some silver. Forged identity documents. And, oh hello, another low-level energy pearl. 10 gold coins. Poke spent years carefully skimming from Barto's iron-fisted budget to save this much. And the energy pearl? He'd bought it through secret channels for his son Lola. The plan was to wait until the kid was old enough to train, then hire a potion maker to brew a breakthrough elixir. Give his secret son a shot at becoming a real knight. Genuinely touching. A father's love, tucked away in a wooden box on top of a hotel wardrobe. You were a good dad, Poke. Too bad you'll never deliver this gift. I pocketed everything, walked out of the hotel like I owned the place, and disappeared into an alley. Mask off. Regular Ron. Picked up Litton's custom advertising sign from the carpenter shop. Totally normal errand boy. Nothing suspicious here. When I got home, Litton was already back. We hung the sign together over the front gate. Litton's private clinic. Starting tomorrow. I'm a private doctor, he said, beaming. And you, Ron, are my #1 assistant. I smiled and bowed humbly. Thank you for believing in me, sir. Meanwhile, my pockets contained 10 gold coins, an energy pearl, and forged identity documents stolen from a dead man's hotel room. But sure, humble assistant. That's me. Act 3, the masterpiece. Now, the letter I sent to Barto this morning. Let me set the scene. Barto's lying in bed. Dying. Rotting foot. Fever. Missing wallet. Lost breathing manual. Beaten son. Resigned doctor. Missing butler. 5 days to live. A servant walks in. Sir, Mr. Poke ordered breakfast delivered for you. And there's a letter. Barto's confused. Why would his butler send him breakfast from a restaurant? He has a kitchen, but the food's already paid for, and Barto's too cheap to waste free food. So, fine, bring it in. He opens the letter and reads, Barto, if you're reading this, it means I'm already dead. It's a suicide note. From Poke, confessing everything. The affair with Grace. The fact that Lola isn't Barto's son. The years of sneaking around, and how he tried to convince Grace to run away together last night, but suspected she might kill him instead to protect her secret. So he prepared this letter as a dead man's switch. If he doesn't survive the night, the letter gets delivered, and Grace goes down with him. That whore. That whore. Barto screamed so hard, he nearly blacked out again. Now, here's what actually happened. Poke never wrote that letter. I did. Every word. I used the intel from my system to piece together every detail of Poke and Grace's relationship, and wrote the most devastating confession letter imaginable. The real Poke is dead and buried under a tree. He never prepared any dead man switch. He never planned to send Barto a confession. He panicked, went to Grace, and got his skull caved in with a candlestick. But Barto doesn't know that. To Barto, this letter is proof. Written by Poke himself. Every detail checks out. The affair, the timeline, Lola's parentage, everything is accurate because my system told me every secret this family has. So now, Barto knows his wife cheated. Barto knows his youngest son isn't his. Barto knows his butler is dead, killed by his own wife. And Barto is processing all of this while running a lethal fever with an infected, pus-oozing, bone-deep wound on his foot. His blood pressure right now could power a steam engine. Let's do the math on how much damage I've caused with letters alone. Letter 1, to Poke caused panic, led to Grace murdering him. Cost, 50 copper tip. Letter 2, to Poke accelerated panic, made him confront Grace, resulting in his death. Cost, 2 silver for delivery food. Letter 3, to Barto revealed every family secret, likely shaving days off his remaining lifespan through pure rage. Cost, prepaid breakfast. Total investment, roughly 3 silver coins. Total destruction, 1 dead butler, 1 murderer wife exposed, 1 family dynasty in ashes, and a dying man whose last days are now filled with maximum suffering. Return on investment, incalculable. I'm not a fighter yet. I'm not a knight yet. But I might be the most dangerous pen pal in the entire history of this world. I wasn't there for any of this. But based on everything I know about these people, I can reconstruct the scene like a director watching security footage. Let's start with Barto. So the man reads my fake suicide note from Poke over breakfast. Free breakfast, by the way, because I knew this cheapskate wouldn't accept delivery he had to pay for. He literally received the worst news of his life alongside complimentary toast. Now, Barto's not completely stupid. He noticed the handwriting didn't match Poke's. But the content? Every detail about his businesses, his properties, his secrets, stuff only his personal butler would know. So either Poke wrote it himself or dictated it to someone. Either way, it's legit in Barto's mind. And honestly, every fact in that letter is accurate. Because my system told me everything. I basically have better intelligence on Barto's household than Barto himself. So what does a dying, feverish, half-delirious old man do when he finds out his wife has been sleeping with his butler for years and his youngest son isn't his? He gets in a wheelchair and rolls to war. 2 servants pushing him, veins popping, eyes bloodshot, rotting foot wrapped in bandages, heading straight for Grace's room like the world's angriest disabled missile. Meanwhile, in Grace's room, a much more serious conversation was happening. Her brother Guavas had arrived that morning, and let me tell you, From everything my intel has told me, this guy is the real power player in this story. Here's the backstory I've pieced together. 20 plus years ago, Barto was just a clever merchant who made too much money too fast. No muscle, no connections, no protection. Every gang and power broker in town wanted a piece of him. Enter the Guavas family, 3 generations of knights, respected but poor. Guavas himself broke through to Justice Knight level, which made him basically untouchable in local politics. So they cut a deal. Barto marries Grace, gets military protection. Guavas' family gets access to Barto's money. Classic medieval power merger. But then Grace couldn't get pregnant. They secretly investigated and discovered Barto was the problem. Burned out his body hustling in his youth, lost fertility by 40. Oops. So Grace and Guavas hatched a plan, borrow someone else's equipment. Enter Poke, the butler. Convenient, accessible, and disposable. Lola was never an accident. He was a product, manufactured by the Guavas siblings to create an heir they could control. Poke was just the sperm donor who got too attached to the project. And when Poke became a liability, Grace deleted him with a candlestick. No hesitation. Now Guavas was reassuring his sister, "You did the right thing. Poke had to die. Dead men can't talk. As long as Barto doesn't know, we can deny everything." Grace was starting to relax. Big brother's here. Everything's going to be. Crash door flies open. "Grace, you whore." Barto, in a wheelchair, pushed by 2 servants. Face like a volcano about to erupt, waving my letter in his trembling fist. Grace's blood went cold, but she's a professional liar, so she put on her best confused face. "Barto, why are you yelling at me? You know why." "I really don't." "Perhaps you should explain." Still trying to bluff. Still hoping maybe the letter didn't say what she thinks it said. Still performing. But here's what Grace doesn't know. Her brother is hiding in the shadows of the room right now. Justice Knight reflexes. He vanished into a dark corner the instant he heard the wheelchair approaching. Barto's servants didn't see him. Barto didn't see him. So we have a dying man in a wheelchair, confronting his cheating wife, while her assassin knight brother lurks 3 meters away in the shadows, deciding whether this situation calls for murder. This is a powder keg. One wrong word, and either Barto dies right here, or Grace gets exposed, or Guava steps out of the shadows and makes everyone in the room disappear. And I set all of this in motion with a prepaid breakfast and a fake letter. You know what the funniest part is? Every single person in that room thinks they're the smartest person there. Barto thinks he's catching his wife red-handed. Grace thinks she can lie her way out. And Guavas thinks he's the puppet master controlling everything from the shadows. None of them realize the actual puppet master is a 15-year-old kid sitting in a brick shed behind a doctor's house, doing breathing exercises and eating leftover rice. Current body count from my letters, 1, Poke. Projected body count by end of week. Honestly, could be anyone's guess at this point. I lit the fuse. The explosion is out of my hands now. But I'll be watching. I'm always watching. I wasn't there. But I'm pretty sure this is exactly how it went down, because my system basically gives me the movie script before it airs. So, Barto rolled into Grace's room like a wrecking ball in a wheelchair. "Grace, you filthy." He throws the letter at her. She picks it up, reads it, and for 1 second, genuine panic. She thought the blackmailer had ratted her out. But then, wait, this is written as Poke's confession letter? Poke left a dead man's switch? Her brain rebooted. She spotted an escape route. "Barto, this isn't even Poke's handwriting. Someone forged this to frame me. I'm innocent. Not bad, Grace." Quick thinking. Solid defense. Except Barto, dying, feverish, half-delirious Barto, suddenly turned into the world's sharpest detective. "Interesting. How do you know it's not Poke's handwriting?" Grace froze. "Poke is MY butler. He works in MY office. He handles MY documents. You've never touched a piece of paperwork in your life. So please explain. How would you know what his writing looks like?" "Gotcha. I have to give credit where it's due. Barto may be a scumbag slave owner dying from a poop-infected bear trap wound. But in this moment, the man was sharp. Even on death's door, his merchant brain could spot a logical contradiction. Grace started stammering, eyes darting, brain buffering. Then Barto dropped the nuke. "If you're really innocent, let's go to the Grand Cathedral in Kula City. Swear before the Creator Goddess and her priests that you never betrayed me. That Lola is my son. Game over." See, in this world, The creator goddess isn't some abstract concept. She's real. Her priests have actual supernatural powers. If you lie in front of them during a sacred oath, they know. And the punishment is, let's just say nobody wants to find out. Grace couldn't take that oath. She'd be exposed instantly. So she just stood there, mouth open, nothing coming out, like a fish on land. Bardo spat on the floor. Literally. From today, you're not my wife. Take your bastard child and get out. Then he did something brilliant, in a cruel, petty way. He imitated her. You know how I knew you were lying? When I yelled at you, you asked, why are you angry? But the real Grace, the woman who thinks she's untouchable because her brother's a knight, would have said, "Hey, you useless old man. What are you doing in my room acting crazy?" Grace winced. Because yeah, that is what she would normally say. Her fake politeness was the tell. She was so scared she forgot to be herself. Bardo turned his wheelchair to leave. Victory speech delivered. Case closed. Time to go home and die with the satisfaction of, you're right, Bardo. You useless old man. You really should die. Grace's voice. Ice cold. No more acting. Bardo paused. Turned around. Smirked. What? You're going to kill me. Don't make me laugh. Go home and explain to Guavas why you. A shadow moved. From the dark corner of the room, a figure emerged. Armored. Sword on hip. Built like a war machine. 40 years old and radiating the kind of energy that makes the air feel heavy. Guavas. What are you doing here? Bardo's smirk evaporated. His face went white. His brain finally caught up to his mouth. He'd just confronted his cheating wife in her bedroom, with only 2 mid-level knight attendant guards, and her Justice Knight brother was in the room the entire time. He tried to smile. Tried to think of something diplomatic. Too late. Guavas moved like a wolf. One blink. Just one. And he was between the 2 guards. Hands on the backs of their necks. Fingers pressed down. The guards' eyes went wide. Their faces froze in terror. Then their bodies went limp and dropped to the floor like puppets with cut strings. Dead. Both of them. In under 2 seconds. Without a weapon. Without making a sound. That is the gap between a mid-level knight attendant and a justice knight. Those guards could wrestle wild boars. They could kill wolf packs with swords. And Guava's neck pinched them to death like he was turning off a light switch. Bardo saw his entire life flash before his eyes. Every dirty deal. Every stolen farm. Every enslaved family. Every penny pinched. And he realized, none of it matters when someone can kill you with their fingertips. Wait, Guavas, you can't kill me. The people behind me are. Guavas grabbed his throat. Don't bother, Bardo. Let me guess. The nobles in Kula City? The Sal family? Mr. Cleggy, Bardo's eyes went wide. Guavas knew. He knew about the slave trade. The clients. The whole operation. This wasn't some impulsive brother defending his sister's honor. This was a calculated predator who'd been watching Bardo's entire criminal network. And here's the thing that sent chills down my spine when I read this in the intel later. Guavas had been planning something for a long time. The marriage to Grace wasn't just a financial alliance. The borrowing of Poke for a baby wasn't just about an heir. Everything was part of a larger scheme by this Knight family to infiltrate and eventually consume Bardo's empire. I thought I was the chess master in this story. But Guavas has been playing for 20 years. Bardo, choking in a wheelchair, foot rotting, empire crumbling, just learned the most important lesson of his life. In a world of wolves, money doesn't make you the predator. It makes you the meal. And me? Where am I during all this? I'm in my little brick room, doing breathing exercises, getting stronger. I thought I was pulling the strings on a dying old man and his dysfunctional family. Turns out, there's a much bigger puppet master in this story. And he just murdered 3 people before breakfast. Note to self, stay very far away from Guavas. For now. So Bardo is dead, choked out in a wheelchair by his brother-in-law while his wife watched with a smile. What a way to go. Let me reconstruct the final moments of Hippo Town's cheapest man. Guavas squeezed Bardo's throat and basically gave him a performance review while killing him. You think I didn't know about the slave trade? Who do you think covered for you at the government office? Me. I've known about your Kula City clients this whole time. And lately, you've been getting too cocky, forgetting who really protects you. Bardo's turning purple, eyes bulging, trying to beg. A dog that stops obeying its master gets put down. And those Kula City nobles? They won't avenge a dead man. They'll just find a new errand boy. And that was it. Hands dropped. Head tilted sideways. Dead in his wheelchair. Bardo, slave owner, property thief, Human trafficker, penny-pinching psychopath, killed by his own family's bodyguard. Poetic doesn't even begin to cover it. Grace walked over, looked at the corpse, and felt nothing. Actually, correction, she felt happy. This woman spent over a decade married to a cold, controlling old man twice her age. No love, no children together. Just a business arrangement where she was the product. So watching him die? That was probably the best moment of her adult life. Then the siblings got down to business. Grace wanted to immediately start moving Bardo's assets. But Guavas, cold, calculated Guavas, had other plans. What about Nim? What about Nim? He's Bardo's firstborn. Legal heir. Priority inheritance. He has to go too. Grace's eyes lit up. Apparently, she'd been deliberately letting Nim become a useless drunk over the years, steering him toward parties and alcohol so he'd never be a threat to Lola's inheritance. Long-term sabotage. This woman plays the long game. Right on cue, a maid walked in, saw 3 dead bodies on the floor, went white as a ghost. But she's bound to the family. Her parents' slave contracts are held by Guavas, so she swallowed her terror and delivered the message. Ma'am, young Master Nim has returned. Grace and Guavas exchanged a look. One look. That's all it took. Take me to him. Grace left to lure Nim into the trap. Guavas dragged the 3 corpses into a back room like they were furniture, then sat down on a couch and started thinking. And this is where things get interesting for me, because Guavas started connecting dots. First, Barto steps on a bear trap. Suspicious, but explainable. Then, Nim gets ambushed and robbed, but not killed. Deliberate restraint. Then, Poke receives blackmail letters. Panics. Goes to Grace. Grace contacts Guavas. Poke gets a second letter that somehow knows about Guavas' involvement before it was even possible to know. Poke loses his mind. Grace kills him. Then, a suicide note from Poke arrives at Barto's doorstep, revealing every secret, sending Barto into a rage, directly into Grace's room, where Guavas was already waiting. These events look unrelated, but they chain together perfectly. Guavas sat there, armored, bloodstained, surrounded by bodies, and had his big detective moment. Someone orchestrated all of this, and their target was Barto. He smiled. Figured it out. The grand design. Someone had been systematically dismantling Barto's household from the outside, using information warfare, psychological manipulation, and perfect timing. But then, 2 seconds later, the smile vanished. Because the implications were terrifying. Who could do this? They knew Barto's patrol schedule in advance. They knew about Poke and Grace. They knew about Guavas being contacted before it was public knowledge. This level of intelligence gathering is insane. His mind raced through possibilities. A spy organization? A high-level mage with psychic abilities? Some powerful faction with surveillance magic? But none of it made sense. Why would any of those groups care about a small-town slave owner? And if they had that much power, why bother with elaborate schemes? They could have just killed Barto directly. The contradiction broke his brain. The enemy was simultaneously too powerful to be targeting someone this insignificant, and too sneaky to be someone with real power. Then he grabbed all 3 letters and compared them side by side. Different handwriting, different paper, different ink. The 2 blackmail letters to Poke, one style. The suicide note to Barto, completely different materials and penmanship. And suddenly, doubt. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Maybe it really was all just coincidence. A random farmer's bear trap. A random forest bandit. A random blackmailer who happened to know secrets. A dead butler who happened to leave a confession letter. Unrelated events that just collided. Guavas, a 20-year chess master who orchestrated a marriage, a secret pregnancy, and a coup, was now questioning whether anyone else could possibly be as strategic as him. His conclusion? Probably not. Probably coincidence. And that is my greatest achievement so far. I created a conspiracy so clean, so perfectly layered, that even a Justice Knight who literally just murdered 3 people couldn't figure out it was all one person. Because the idea that a single teenage orphan could engineer all of this was simply too absurd to consider. The different handwriting? I used different hands on purpose, wrote some letters with my left hand, changed my grip, altered the style. Different paper and ink. Bought supplies from different shops on different days. I'm invisible. Not because I'm hidden, but because I'm so small, so insignificant, so impossible as a suspect, that even the smartest person in the room can't see me. A Justice Knight is sitting in a room full of bodies, holding my letters, and concluding, nah, must be random. I'm 15. I own one iron pot, and I just puppet an entire family into destroying itself, while the most dangerous man in town decided I don't exist. This is either the peak of my career or the tutorial level. Either way, Barto's dead, and I didn't even have to touch him. Now I just need to outlive everyone else on my list. So here's a fun detail about my letter writing operation that might have just saved my life. I used different paper. The blackmail letters to poke? Cheap papyrus. Gray-brown, crumbly, ink bleeds everywhere. Bottom shelf stuff. The kind of paper that apologizes for existing. The fake suicide note. From Poke to Barto. Nice white stationery. Smooth, clean, foldable. The kind a butler would actually use. Why? Because I'm not an amateur. If all 3 letters were on the same paper with the same ink, even an idiot could connect them. Different materials, different handwriting styles, different delivery methods. 3 letters, 3 completely separate identities. And apparently, it worked. Because according to today's intel, Guavas sat there comparing all 3 letters and couldn't definitively link them. Different paper, different ink, different penmanship. His conclusion? Maybe it's all coincidence. Thank you, multiple stationery purchases. You might be the reason I'm still alive. Speaking of being alive, let's talk about my body. While an entire family was murdering each other across town, I was in my little brick room doing what I do best, punching air and breathing like a wolf. And right before midnight, something shifted inside me. The blood mist in my chest compressed, squeezed, folded in on itself, and formed a single, tiny droplet of liquid blood energy. Mid-level knight attendant. Achieved. 3 days ago, I was a skinny kid who couldn't fight a goose. Now I could wrestle a wild boar that weighs several hundred kilograms. My strength, speed, reflexes, defense, everything jumped exponentially. If 20 full-grown men lined up in front of me right now, I could knock every single one of them unconscious without breaking a sweat. I clenched my fists and they crackled. Like bubble wrap made of bone and power. This body is becoming a weapon. Nutrition paste is running low though. Got about 2/3 of a bottle here, plus half a bottle at the stone house. Maybe a week's supply total, and that's being optimistic since mid-level training burns through more fuel. But I've got Poke's Energy Pearl, a complete one this time, not half-digested rabbit leftovers, with twice the potency. Once I get access to Litton's lab equipment to brew a proper batch, I'll have enough paste to push all the way to full night. Real lab equipment, real scales, real distillation tools. No more juice bottle science experiments and copper coin teacup weighing. I'm upgrading from medieval meth lab to actual pharmacy. Then, ding, midnight intel. And the Barto saga delivered its season finale. Number 1. Barto is dead. Confirmed. Strangled by Guavas. No final words. No will. No last-minute salvation. The man who stole my family's house tried to sell me to a predator and spent his dying days enslaving innocent people. Gone. Sitting dead in his own wheelchair. I should feel something profound, some deep emotional closure. What I actually feel. Relief. Pure, clean, tactical relief. The biggest threat to my survival just got permanently deleted. Number 2. Nim's dead too. Came home from Kula City, got lured by Grace into her room, and Guavas snapped him like a twig. The guard captain who was with him? Also dead. Guavas is racking up a body count that would make a serial killer jealous. Numbers 3 through 5, the cover-up. Grace is pretending Barto died this morning from his infection. Natural causes. How convenient. Nim's body was dragged into Clear Spring Forest, mauled by wild animals that Guavas caught and forced to chew on the corpse. Then, discovered by Guavas' patrol team tomorrow. Official story. Nim was killed by the monster everyone's been afraid of. The fake monster tracks that the Thieves Guild planted are now being used to explain a real murder. Layers upon layers of deception, and none of these people even know they're building on each other's lies. Number 6 made me tense up though. Guavas suspects a mastermind. He knows someone engineered Barto's downfall. He just can't figure out who, or how, or why. His best guesses are a powerful mage, a spy organization, or some major political player. He's looking for a dragon. The actual culprit is a mouse. Number 7. Guavas wants to find whoever placed that original bear trap. Not for justice, for his own security. He needs to know who's operating in his territory. This means there's going to be an investigation. My first move, the trap that started everything, is the one he's going to chase. Good thing that trap was placed by a kid wearing no disguise in an empty field with 0 witnesses. Good luck, detective. Number 8. Poke is officially missing. Guavas is spreading the story that Poke stole money and ran away. There'll be a wanted poster. A manhunt. All theater. The real Poke is fertilizing Grace's garden. Number 9. Guavas is moving Grace and Lola to his own house for safety. He's scared of the phantom mastermind. The Justice Knight is scared of me. He just doesn't know it's me he's scared of. Number 10. Merla heard about Bardo's death and immediately pivoted to Guavas as her new business partner for the slave trade. This woman has the emotional depth of a puddle and the survival instincts of a cockroach. Her former partner dies, and she's already networking at the funeral. She's still on my list. But now she's walking toward a Justice Knight with a business proposition, which means her fate is entangling with Guavas's. I need to be careful. Let me do a final inventory. Barto dead. Mission complete. Nem, dead. Bonus kill by Guavas. Poke, dead. Killed by Grace. Buried in yard. Guard captain 2 guards, dead. People I personally killed, 0. Total body count caused by my actions, 6. All I used was paper, ink, a bear trap, and a 15 copper rabbit. Enemies remaining, Merla, slave trader, and now potentially Guavas, if he ever figures out who I am. Assets, 12 gold coins, 2 energy pearls, a magic face-changing mask, a breathing technique, a legitimate job, a kind mentor, and a body that can now fight wild boars. Guavas is hunting for a phantom mastermind, some impossibly powerful shadow figure pulling strings from the darkness. That shadow figure is currently scheduled to walk a 10-year-old girl to school tomorrow morning. Terrifying, I know. So let's talk about my risk assessment. Guavas suspects a mastermind. That's fine. Let him suspect. Because to actually find me, he'd need a high-level wizard or mage with tracking magic. And those people? They work for coolest city nobles and major powers. They don't take freelance jobs from small-town security captains. Guavas is a big fish in a tiny pond. In Hippo Town, top 5 strongest, easy. But in coolest city, he's a background character. A nobody. He couldn't get a wizard's appointment if he begged on his knees with a bag of gold. So I'm safe. Probably. Almost certainly. But I'm also not stupid. I reviewed every single action I've taken, triple-checked for loose ends, and decided, time to lay low. No more letters. No more traps. No more disguised shopping sprees. Just be Ron, the humble doctor's assistant, for a while. Let the heat die down. Let Guavas chase shadows until he gets bored. One thing worries me though, intel number 10. Merla is crawling toward Guavas like a cockroach toward a new kitchen. Bardo's body isn't even cold, and she's already shopping for a replacement business partner. I thought killing Barto would isolate her. Instead, she's about to level up, going from corrupt slave trader partnered with a rich farmer to corrupt slave trader partnered with a Justice Knight. That's worse. That's significantly worse. But here's my secret weapon, Litton. Not his fists, his reputation. See, Litton isn't just some random doctor. He's been the people's physician for years. Treated rich and poor alike. Never turned anyone away. The commoners of Hippo Town practically worship him. Even when he worked for Bardo, he still saw patients on the side for free. The man is basically medieval Mother Teresa with a stethoscope. And I'm his assistant. His right-hand man. Protected by his good name, like standing behind the world's most ethical shield. Even Guavas wouldn't casually mess with someone under Litton's wing, too much public backlash. Of course, hiding behind someone else's reputation is a temporary strategy. The only real solution is getting strong enough that I don't need protection. So I kept training. All night. Every night. Then morning came. Opening day. Litton's private clinic launched with the energy of a medieval block party. Half the town showed up. Friends, neighbors, curious onlookers, people who just wanted free entertainment. Litton hired actual performers. Traveling poets and a harp band with windpipes. They played popular songs first to draw the crowd, then seamlessly transitioned into an original number about, I kid you not, Dr. Litton himself. A personalized jingle. For a medical clinic. In a medieval fantasy world. This man understood marketing. I was genuinely impressed. Then Litton stepped out from behind the curtain and made his big announcement. Clinic is open. Everyone welcome. Rich or poor. Big illness or small. And, for the first 3 days, free consultations, Medicine at half price. The crowd went nuts. These are people who normally just suffer through sickness because they can't afford a doctor. Broken bones? Walk it off. Mysterious fever? Pray about it. Strange rash? Ignore it until it goes away, or you do. And now a real doctor is offering free checkups? Hands shot up everywhere. People lined up immediately. I jumped into action, clipboard in hand, organizing the queue, taking names, recording symptoms. Full receptionist mode. Litton saw me working and gave an approving nod. Look at us. A revenge-driven transmigrator and a kind-hearted physician running a small-town clinic together. Him healing bodies. Me secretly plotting the destruction of a criminal enterprise from the back room. Just your average co-workers. Meanwhile, across town, Merla got the news. Barto is dead. She was furious. Not because she lost a friend. She doesn't have those. But because she lost a business partner. She'd estimated Barto had at least 4 or 5 more days. One day later, and he's a corpse? Something didn't add up. Then the details kept coming. Grace made the announcement, not Nem. Butler Polk supposedly stole money and ran. Nem went back to Kula City, and Grace's Justice Knight brother conveniently rushed home from patrol. Merla's no fool. She sat there connecting dots, and I could practically feel her suspicion through the intel. The butler ran, the son left, the brother arrived, and Barto just died. She knows. Not the full truth, but she knows something happened. She can smell blood in the water. That's what makes her dangerous. She doesn't need evidence. She just needs leverage. And right now, she's calculating whether Guavas killed Barto, and if so, how she can use that information to make him her new partner. A blackmailer recognizes another blackmailer's work. It takes a snake to spot a snake. So the new power map of Hippo Town looks like this. Guavas controls the muscle and is absorbing Barto's empire. Merla controls the slave trade connections and is trying to attach herself to Guavas. Litton controls public opinion through his clinic. And I control information more than anyone in this town realizes. For players, for agendas, one tiny town, and the teenager organizing patient files at the front desk? He's the most dangerous one in the room. But today, I'm just smiling, writing names, and saying, next patient, please, low profile. Quiet hands. Patient heart. The wolf is learning to wear sheep's clothing. So Merla figured it out. Well, partially. She took one look at the situation, Barto dead, butler, missing, son conveniently absent, Justice Knight brother conveniently present, and went, yeah, Guavas killed him. Not that she cares. Merla doesn't do grief. Merla does business. Her brain skipped right past, my partner is dead, and went straight to, who has his stuff now? Answer, Guavas. Which means all those slaves Barto had been collecting for the Kula City nobles. Now in Guavas' inventory. And Merla needs access to that inventory because the nobles are waiting and nobles don't like waiting. Problem, Merla and Guavas have never actually met. Barto was always the middleman. He handled the dirty work, Merla handled the selling, and Guavas handled the cover-ups from his government office. A beautiful criminal triangle where no 2 points ever had to touch directly. Now the middle point is dead and the other 2 need to shake hands for the first time. Awkward networking at its finest. Merla decided to bring a gift. Smart move. But what do you buy for a Justice Knight who has money and could literally kill you with his pinky finger? Weapons? Too expensive. Armor? Too expensive. Magic potions? Way too expensive. A nice horse? Still too expensive. After much deliberation, she settled on a wolfskin coat. Because apparently Guavas' nickname is the Wild Wolf Knight. He used to serve in the Wolf King Knight Order. He likes wolf stuff. A custom wolf fur jacket from the tailor, a few dozen silver coins. Affordable, personal, flattering. I have to admit, for a human trafficker, she's got decent gift-giving instincts. So she's heading to the tailor shop, marching down the street with her little shopping plan, when she walks past Litton's brand new clinic and sees me, standing at the front door, greeting patients, looking clean, healthy, and employed. Her brain short-circuited. Wait, isn't that the Jaeger kid? The starving homeless orphan? The one who was supposed to come crawling to me begging for work? Why is he at a doctor's office? She walked over. Fake smile. Ron, remember me? Oh, I remember you, lady. I remember you every single night when I update my kill list. But outwardly, sunshine and rainbows. Of course, Mrs. Merla. So nice to see you. She scanned me up and down. Clean clothes. Better posture. More confident. Healthier. I could see the confusion on her face. A few days ago, I was a shivering scarecrow mumbling about wanting to join the Night Academy. Now I look like a completely different person. You seem different, she said carefully. I got a job. I'm Dr. Litton's assistant now, and I told her everything. On purpose. Every detail of how I saved Lisa, met Litton, got hired, moved in. I wanted her to know, because now she has to factor Litton into her calculations. Litton is beloved. Litton is respected. Litton's clinic just opened to massive public support. Messing with Litton's assistant means messing with Litton, which means messing with half the town's goodwill. I watched the math happen behind Merla's eyes in real time. The smile stayed, but her eyes went dead. That boy is under Litton's protection now. Her cooked duck just flew right out the kitchen window. She'd been so confident. Just wait a few days, she thought. The cold and hunger will break him. He'll come running. They always come running. She'd seen it 100 times. Desperate people walking right into her trap because they had no other choice. But I had choices. I had a system giving me choices she couldn't even imagine. The best part? I offered to help her. Mrs. Merla, you look a bit pale. Are you feeling all right? Want me to book you an appointment with Dr. Litton? Her eye twitched. I swear both corners of her mouth were fighting each other. One trying to smile, one trying to scream. No thank you, Ron. I'm fine. Very fine. She congratulated me through what I can only describe as dental prison. Teeth clenched so hard I'm surprised they didn't crack. Then she added, hopefully, but if things don't work out with Dr. Litton, you can always come to me for a new job. Translation: please still become a slave. I have quotas to meet. I gave her my warmest, most innocent smile. Thank you, Mrs. Merla. I'll keep that in mind. She turned and walked away. The instant her back was to me, her face went ice cold. I know because mine did the same thing. We're two predators pretending to be friends, and we both know it. The difference? She thinks she's the predator, and I'm the prey who got lucky. She has no idea that the prey already ate one predator, is currently digesting a second, and has her circled in red marker for dessert. Merla, Bardo's already dead. You're next, but not today. Today I'm just a smiling clinic receptionist. Next patient, please. I wasn't at that dinner. Obviously. But my system paints pictures so vivid I might as well have been hiding under the table. So here's what went down at the fanciest restaurant in the rich district, 8 o'clock sharp. Merla showed up looking like a medieval spy movie extra. Hooded cloak, black veil over her face, gift box under her arm. I'm definitely not committing crimes tonight, energy. The waiter didn't blink. Apparently disguised rich people are a regular Tuesday at this place. She walked into private room number 8. Guavas was already there, standing by the window, sipping wine with his back turned, radiating pure, I'm more important than you, energy. Didn't even look at her when she walked in. Classic power move. Guavas, sir, he turned around. Stone face. Zero warmth. Looked down at her like she was a job application he hadn't decided to read yet. What do you want? Now Merla's a professional schemer. She immediately clocked what was happening. Guavas was pretending not to know why she was here, making her explain first. Because in negotiations, whoever speaks first is the beggar. It's manipulation 101, and Merla recognized it because she wrote the textbook on manipulation. But she also noticed something. Guavas came in disguise too. Casual clothes. Fisherman's hat on the coat rack. No uniform. No armor. He'd come prepared for a secret meeting, which meant he absolutely knew what this was about, and his, what do you want, act was just positioning. Merla relaxed slightly. At least he's willing to deal. She placed the gift box on the table. A small token of my respect. Guavas glanced down with that. I couldn't possibly care less. Expression. Then his eyes locked onto the contents, and his whole energy shifted. Inside, a sleeveless wolfskin vest. Handmade. Premium fur. Perfect stitching. Custom fit. Guavas, the Wild Wolf Knight. Former member of the Wolf King Knight Order. A man whose entire identity is wolf-themed. Reached out and stroked the fur like he was petting a beloved dog. Beautiful craftsmanship. The texture. The stitching. Merla nailed it. Absolutely nailed the gift. She couldn't afford weapons or armor or magic items, so she went psychological. Hit him right in the personal brand. This woman is dangerous in ways that have nothing to do with physical strength. Guavas softened immediately. Dropped the cold act. Started talking business. You're here about Bardo's slaves? Direct. No games. The wolf jacket bought her that. Merla laid it all out. The whole operation. How she and Bardo worked together. He crushed people financially. She swooped in as the helpful job finder to trick them into slave contracts, and Guavaz's office covered up any legal problems. Three-way criminal partnership. Then she made her pitch. Take Bardo's place. Same deal. I'll even give you 70% instead of the 50-50 I had with Bardo. She literally cut her own profits in half to secure this alliance. That's how desperate she is to keep the coolest city nobles happy. But Guavaz shook his head. Not 70. Merla's face fell. Too greedy, she's thinking. He wants 80? 90? Keep the original 50-50 split. Wait, what? Actually, I don't need the money at all. Just answer 3 questions. Merla's brain went into overdrive. A man who turns down free money to ask questions instead? Those questions must be heavy. What questions? First, which of the 4 noble families in Kula City are you actually working for? Easy one. Merla answered instantly. The Sal family. Specifically, Mr. Madak. Guavaz nodded. He already knew. He'd investigated Bardo's connections years ago. This question was just a warm-up. A trust test to see if she'd answer honestly. Good. Second question. Why does Mr. Madak need so many slaves? His eyes went sharp. Predator sharp. Lie detector sharp. He was watching her face like a hawk watching a rabbit decide which direction to run. And that's where the chapter ended. The big question hanging in the air. Now, from my comfortable brick room behind Litton's house, here's what I'm thinking. Guavaz doesn't care about money. He cares about information. About power. He wants to understand the full criminal supply chain. Who's buying, why they're buying, and what the slaves are actually for. Because if he knows that, he doesn't just inherit Bardo's position. He becomes indispensable to the Kula City nobles. Money makes you comfortable. Information makes you powerful. And Guavaz clearly knows the difference. This man is playing a game several levels above what I initially estimated. He's not just a local strongman grabbing a dead man's scraps. He's positioning himself in a much larger network. Which means my Merla problem isn't getting simpler. It's getting much more complicated. These two are about to form an alliance that combines Guavaz's muscle and authority with Merla's connections to the nobility. And somewhere in all of this, my sister Alice is still a slave at the Sal family house. The same Sal family that Merla just named as her client. The same family that's buying all these slaves. The web keeps getting bigger. But so do I literally. My arms are noticeably thicker this week. Mid-level night attendant, doctor's assistant, secret intelligence operative, and the most patient 15-year-old revenge artist in the history of this continent. One day at a time. Now this intel drop hit different. I'm going to piece together what happened at that fancy restaurant meeting because my system doesn't miss details, and what I learned made the hair on the back of my neck stand up. So Merla and Guavaz are sitting across from each other. He's wearing the wolf vest already. Okay, maybe not already, but he was clearly smitten with it. Gift diplomacy, success. Negotiations proceed. Guavaz asked his second question. Why does Mr. Madak need so many slaves? And Merla's face apparently went through about 15 emotions in 2 seconds. She clearly did not want to answer this one. Started stammering. Stalling. Guavaz responded by cranking up his knight aura. That pressure thing where powerful fighters make the air feel heavy. Merla's knees nearly buckled. Then he pushed the gift box back toward her, basically saying, no answer, no deal. Take your jacket and leave, Merla caved. But not before making 2 demands, an oath of secrecy, and one of Guavaz's secrets in exchange. And Guavaz, without blinking, said, Barto didn't die from infection. I killed him. Nem's dead too. Just said it. Like ordering coffee. Yeah, I murdered 2 people yesterday. Anyway, what's your secret? Merla nearly choked. She'd suspected it, sure, but hearing it confirmed by the killer himself while sitting 3 feet away? Different energy entirely. Then Merla leaned in close and whispered the words that changed everything. Sir Guavaz, have you heard of the Blood Moon cult? Guavaz's face went white. An actual justice knight, a man who kills people with his bare hands, went pale at a name. And suddenly, everything made sense. The slaves weren't being used for labor. They weren't being sold to farms or factories or households. They were being used as sacrifices. Okay, deep breath. Let me explain this world's religion real quick. There's one supreme god, the creator goddess. She's the big boss, mother of everything. Every single kingdom worships her. She's so chill that she allows her followers to worship other gods too. So most people have 2 faiths, creator goddess plus one of the 9 holy gods, earth mother for farming, storm god for weather, and so on. These are the good religions, positive vibes, community building, spiritual guidance. Then there are the evil cults, secret, underground, forbidden. If the kingdom or any legitimate church catches you in one, the punishment is simple: death. No trial, no appeal. Everyone has permission to kill you on sight. The Blood Moon cult is one of these. And Mr. Madoc, the Sal family noble, one of coolest city's foremost powerful families, is secretly a member. He's been ordering slaves not for work, but for ritual sacrifices to whatever nightmare deity the Blood Moon worships. 100 slaves in 5 years. 100 people kidnapped from their homes, tricked into slavery, and fed to a secret death cult run by city nobility. My sister Alice is working at the Sal family house right now. Let that sink in. Guavas processed this and asked his final question. What do I get out of it? Not, should we stop this? Not, isn't this incredibly dangerous? Not, maybe we shouldn't help a death cult? No. What's in it for me? Merla said she could introduce him directly to Madoc after the job was done. Let Guavas negotiate his own reward with the coolest city noble. Access to power, connections, possibly supernatural gifts from a cult that deals in blood magic. Guava smiled. Deal. And just like that, the Wild Wolf Knight, protector of Hippo Town, law enforcement captain, justice knight of the realm, signed up to supply human sacrifices to an evil cult. Everyone in this story is a monster. Bardo was a monster. Merla is a monster. Guavas is a monster wearing a wolfskin vest. The coolest city nobles are monsters in mansions. And somewhere underneath all of them, regular people, people like my family, are just material, resources, fuel for their ambitions. My sister is living in a cult leader's house, sewing silk at 3 in the morning, thinking she's a textile worker, not knowing she's surrounded by people who view human beings as ritual ingredients. I need to get her out, fast, but I also need to be smart, because the enemy list just leveled up dramatically. It's not just a greedy farmer and a crooked broker anymore. It's a justice knight, a slave trader, and a noble family connected to a forbidden religious cult with supernatural powers. Against me, a 15-year-old mid-level knight attendant with a magic mask and a porridge pot. The odds are not great, but they weren't great when I was lying in grass with a bear trap and a dream either. And look where we are now. New priority list. 1. Get stronger. Break through to high-level knight attendant. Then trainee knight. Then real knight. As fast as physically possible. 2. Rescue Alice before anything happens to her. 3. Destroy Merla, expose Guavas, and burn the whole rotten network to the ground. For don't die? Simple enough, right? Right? Stares at ceiling of brick shed. Goes back to punching air. Harder this time. First day at the clinic. Survived. Barely. Litton collapsed into his chair like a puppet with cut strings. Thanks for the hard work, Ron. He wheezed, looking like he'd aged 10 years in 8 hours. Meanwhile, I was sweeping the floor, after running around all day without a break. Not even slightly tired. Litton stared at me like I was a medical anomaly. Which, technically, I am. A secretly enhanced mid-level knight attendant pretending to be a normal teenager has slightly more stamina than a middle-aged doctor. Shocking. Ah, youth. Litton sighed, completely failing to realize that youth doesn't explain a kid who ran 12 hours straight and isn't even breathing hard. But hey, as long as he thinks it's normal, I'm not correcting him. He tossed me 2 silver coins and told me to grab dinner on the way to pick up Lisa. No energy to cook. Fair enough. The man earned his exhaustion honestly. Midnight. Training. Ding. Intel time. Numbers 1 and 2 made me sit up sharp. Remember the wild wolf breathing technique I stole from Nem's notebook? Turns out it's the baby version. The dumbed-down starter pack. The real technique is called the Battle Wolf Breathing Method, a mid-level technique that Guavas learned at the Wolf King Knight Order. He earned the nickname Wild Wolf Knight there and was given this technique as a reward. Then, at Bardo's request, he taught the simplified beginner version to Nem. So my breathing technique has a big brother. A stronger, faster, more powerful upgrade sitting inside Guavas' head. If I could get it, my training speed would skyrocket. But stealing a breathing technique from a justice knight who can neck pinch people to death? That's a future Ron problem. Way future Ron. Numbers 3 and 4 confirmed what I expected. Guavas and Merla shook hands on the slave trade deal. Business as usual. New management, same evil. Number 5. Mr. Madak of the Sal family is a blood moon cultist. Confirmed by the system now, not just Merla's word. Then I hit number 6, and my blood went cold. Blood moon cult rituals typically use live humans as sacrifices. Young men and women are preferred. The specific ritual procedure is, click to expand. I didn't click. Not yet. My hands were shaking too hard. Because number 5 said the ritual happens at the end of the year. Every year. Fixed date. Cannot be moved. And my sister Alice is living in the Sal family house. Right now. A young woman. Working as a slave. In a cult leader's mansion. She's not a textile worker. She's inventory. She's being stored until they need her. Every cell in my body screamed go. Get her now. Tonight. Run to Kula City. Kick down the door. Grab Alice. Fight anyone who gets in the way. My rational brain had about 3 seconds to wrestle my emotions to the ground before I did something catastrophically stupid. Deep breath. Think. The ritual is at year's end. That's 3 months away. And before the ritual, all sacrificial slaves must be kept healthy. No illness, no injury, no damage to the merchandise. Which means, for the next 3 months, Alice is actually safer than she's ever been. They need her alive and well. They'll feed her, keep her healthy, not overwork her to the point of collapse. 3 months. That's my window. The panic faded. The rage didn't. Rage is fuel, but the panic subsided enough for me to think clearly. Number 7. After closing the deal with Guavas, Merla was so relieved she went to the Passion Bar and picked up a random handsome stranger for the night. This woman celebrates everything the same way. Business deal? One night stand. Stressful day? One night stand. Tuesday? One night stand. She has exactly one coping mechanism and zero shame about it. I'd almost respect the consistency if she wasn't a human trafficker. Number 8 was weird. The Night Academy Library has a novel written by Harlington, my mask's creator, the lovesick alchemist. It's apparently a fantasy romance adventure story, and it's so bad that nobody has ever read it. The librarian shoved it on the bottom shelf to rot. My system is telling me about a dead wizard's terrible book. There has to be a reason. Maybe there's something hidden in it. A clue? A spell? An upgrade for my mask. Filing this under investigate when possible. Numbers 9 and 10. The Thieves Guild searched the Kula City Cathedral for 3 days and found nothing. They think their intel was wrong and they're pulling out. Meanwhile, the Joint Night Order searched the wilderness for the monster for 3 days and found nothing either. Because the monster was never real. Both operations are winding down. The fake monster crisis is ending. Curfew will probably lift soon. Things will go back to normal, which means I can travel to Kula City more freely. Which means Alice's rescue becomes logistically possible. 2 paths forward. That's what I see. Path 1. Get strong enough to physically rescue Alice. Break into the Sal estate, grab her, fight my way out. This requires me to become a real knight, minimum. Maybe higher. Against a noble family with guards, resources, and cult magic, I'd need to be extraordinary. Path 2. Get rich enough to legally buy her freedom. Show up at the trading office with the buyback money. 10 times her selling price, so 40 silver, which is less than 1 gold coin. I have the money. The problem isn't cost, it's cover. A teenage orphan walking into a noble's house with gold coins? They'd rob me and sell me too. But a teenage orphan who works for a respected doctor with a legitimate income and a clean identity? That's different. That's someone who might actually survive the transaction. Both paths need more time, more strength, more preparation. 3 months, 90 days. That's what I have. Current training rate? I went from 0 to mid-level night attendant in less than a week. With the second energy pearl, I can brew more nutrition paste. With Litton's lab equipment, the quality will be better. With consistent training, I might hit high-level night attendant in days. Trainee night in weeks. And then, real night. Within the 3-month window? Maybe. It's going to be tight. It's going to be dangerous. And it's going to require everything I have. But Alice doesn't have anyone else. Just me. Her little brother she's never actually met. A transmigrated soul in a borrowed body, with a magic mask, a stolen breathing technique, a brain full of daily intel, and an iron pot that's seen more action than most soldiers. Hold on, Alice. 3 months. I'm coming for you, and I'm bringing everything. All right, brain on. Planning mode. 2 paths to save Alice. Path 1. Become at least a trainee knight. Go to the Sal house with money and legally buy her freedom. If they try anything funny, I'll have enough strength to fight my way out. Clean. Simple. Expensive in time and training. Path 2. Ocean's 11 it. Sneak in, grab Alice, disappear. This requires perfect intel, a flawless plan, and enough combat power to handle surprises. One mistake and we're both dead, or worse, we become matching sacrifices at the year-end Blood Moon barbecue. Either way, the answer is the same: get stronger faster. Current projection? 10 days to high-level knight attendant. Then, with the second energy pearl brewed into nutrition paste using Litton's actual lab equipment, no more teacup scales and juice bottle chemistry sets, I could hit trainee knight in maybe 2 weeks total. Half a month from zero background orphan to full trainee knight. That's a speed that would make noble families spit out their wine. Their pampered prodigy sons spend years reaching that level, and I'm doing it in the time it takes to grow a beard. Which I also can't do yet, but that's beside the point. But raw strength isn't everything. A sword and armor would boost my combat power by 50% minimum. And if they were alchemical items, I could punch above my weight class entirely. Problem: alchemical gear is stupidly rare. The whole town probably doesn't have 5 pieces total. I got the mask through insane luck. Getting a second alchemical item, especially a weapon or armor, would require... Wait. A thought hit me like a freight train. The same thought I'd been circling around for days. The system isn't random. I'd been tracking the pattern, and it finally clicked into a full theory. Every day's intel is connected to whatever I was thinking about or doing the day before. When I first arrived, I was desperate for shelter and food. The system gave me abandoned shack location, bird eggs, berry bushes. When I wanted revenge on Barto, system gave me his patrol route and the timing for the trap. When I needed to get stronger, breathing technique, drop location, energy pearl and a rabbit. When I needed a disguise, alchemist's mask and a hidden drawer. It's not random. It's responsive. The system reads my priorities and delivers intel that matches. So if I spend today intensely thinking about needing weapons, armor, or alchemical combat gear, tomorrow's intel might tell me exactly where to find some. Could I basically turn my random daily newspaper into a search engine? My heart started pounding. If this theory is correct, it changes everything. Instead of passively receiving whatever the system decides to tell me, I can actively steer the results. Think about what I need, focus on it intensely, and the next morning, targeted intelligence delivered straight to my brain. Google, but for a medieval fantasy world, powered by obsessive thinking instead of keywords. I need to test this. Tonight, before the intel refreshes, I'm going to spend hours focusing on one single thought. I need equipment that increases my combat power. Repeat it like a mantra. Fill my entire brain with it. Then see what tomorrow brings. If it works, I'm not just a guy with a daily information feed. I'm a guy with an on-demand intelligence system that can find anything I focus on. That's not a cheat code. That's the developer console. Moving on, the other intel pieces. Merla celebrated her new business deal by sleeping with a random stranger at the Passion Bar. At this point, I'm convinced this woman's love life runs on the same schedule as my intel system. Once per major plot event, Harlington wrote a novel and hid it in the Knight Academy library. And it's apparently so terrible that in however many years it's been there, 0 people have read it. The librarian literally buried it on the bottom shelf out of literary disgust. But my system flagged it, which means there's something useful in there. Probably not the writing quality. The Thieves Guild is leaving Coolest City, didn't find what they were looking for in the cathedral. And the Night Order's monster hunt is ending too, since there were never any real monsters. So the security lockdown is winding down. Curfew will be lifted. Gates will be open. Travel becomes easy again. All good news for my future Coolest City operations. I went to sleep with one single thought pounding in my skull. Weapons, armor, combat gear, alchemical items, anything that makes me stronger. Next day was routine. Walk Lisa to school. She held my hand the whole way, which was cute and also slightly inconvenient for a secret revenge operative. Man the clinic all morning. Eat lunch. Hold down the fort while Litton makes house calls to rich patients in the afternoon. Pick up Lisa. Dinner. Family time. Normal. Boring. Exactly what I need right now. Every quiet day is a day nobody suspects me, a day I train in secret, a day closer to night level power. Meanwhile, Across town, Guavas put on the performance of a lifetime. He personally led a night patrol into Clear Spring Forest and discovered Nem's body. The same body he put there, after having wild animals chew on it to destroy evidence. He came back to town carrying the remains, wearing his best sad face, sighing dramatically for every onlooker. Poor, brave Nem, trying to save his father, took the dangerous forest path, attacked by wild beasts. Such a tragedy. The townspeople were comforting him, patting his shoulder, saying, "Please don't be sad, Mr. Guavas. It was fate, fate." The man murdered his nephew, staged a crime scene, fed the corpse to animals, and then accepted condolences from the public like he was at a funeral he organized. Which he literally was. This guy is a better actor than me. And that's saying something, because I've been running the humble orphan show for 2 weeks straight with rave reviews. Anyway, tonight, midnight, the big test. Did my search engine theory work? Did focusing all day on combat equipment steer tomorrow's intel? I'll find out in a few hours. If the answer is yes, then every rule of this game just changed. And if it's no, well, I'll still be a mid-level knight attendant with 12 gold coins, 2 energy pearls, a magic mask, and an enemies list that's getting shorter by the day. Either way, I'm winning. But I'd really like that search engine. It worked. The theory worked. I have a search engine in my brain. Let me explain why I'm freaking out. Yesterday, I spent hours before bed mentally chanting, alchemical items, alchemical items, alchemical items, like some kind of medieval SEO specialist trying to game a supernatural algorithm. And today, 4 out of 10 intel entries were about alchemical items. 4. In nearly 200 pieces of intel I've received since activating this system, I'd gotten maybe 3 total mentions of alchemical gear, all about the same mask. Now suddenly, one focused brainstorming session and I get a complete catalog of every alchemical item in town? This isn't coincidence. This is confirmation. My daily intel system isn't random. It's responsive. It reads what I'm thinking about, what I need, what I'm focused on, and it delivers matching results the next morning. I've basically discovered that my psychic newspaper has a search bar. I just have to think really hard about my query before bed, and the results arrive at midnight like the world's most reliable overnight delivery. I'm going to test it again tonight, just to be absolutely sure. If tomorrow gives me more alchemical item intel, then I've cracked the code permanently. And from that point on, I'm not passively reading a newspaper anymore. I'm Googling reality. But first, let me go through today's juicy results. Number 1. Guavas is already making moves. Using the investigation into Bardo's injury as a cover story to pressure more free citizens into slavery. The man buried Barto 2 days ago and is now wearing his skin, metaphorically, continuing the exact same evil business. Different face, same crimes. Truly a worthy successor to the throne of garbage. Numbers 2 and 3. Guavas has a secret family. His actual wife? Political marriage. No love. Gave him 2 daughters. His response to having daughters instead of sons? Get a pretty mistress. Hide her in a separate house. Have a secret son 2 years ago. And start quietly planning to make the illegitimate kid his heir. Sound familiar? Because it should. This is almost exactly the Barto Gracepoke situation all over again. Secret lover. Hidden child. Scheming to rearrange inheritance. These people are living in a loop of betrayal. And now I have blackmail ammunition against a Justice Knight. Filing this under nuclear option, break glass in emergency. Number 4. Guavas' Wolffang necklace is an alchemical item. Releases predator pressure that scares animals, especially wolves. Cool for him. Not useful for me since I can't exactly walk up and snatch it off a Justice Knight's neck. Number 5. The town mayor has an alchemical sword. Boosts strength, speed, and conducts battle aura. Now that's a weapon. But again, it belongs to the mayor. Can't touch it. Number 6. The trade office boss has alchemical glasses. Auto-adjusting prescription with perception bonus. Neat. Useless to me. Still someone else's property. All 3 of those items are fascinating but untouchable. I'm a mid-level night attendant, not a cat burglar. Well, not yet. But number 7? Number 7 made me want to scream with joy. Harlington's terrible romance novel in the Night Academy library. The one so badly written that the librarian banished it to the bottom shelf? It's an alchemical item. A sealed one, disguised as a book. And inside, Harlington and his wife Lorraine study notes. They're actual academic notes. from a master alchemist and a master potion maker. The two skills this world values above almost everything else. And they're hidden inside a deliberately awful novel that nobody would ever want to read. Harlington, you absolute madman. You hid your life's knowledge inside a book so terrible it functions as its own security system. Nobody steals it because nobody can get past chapter 1. The system even gave me a click to expand for the unsealing method. This is obtainable. The book is sitting in a semi-public library. Nobody wants it. Nobody's guarding it. I just need to get in there, grab it, and unlock it. An alchemist's notes. A potion maker's notes. If I can learn even a fraction of what's in there, I won't just be a knight. I'll be a knight who can make his own equipment, brew his own potions, and maybe even create alchemical items. That's not a power-up. That's a career change. Number 8 was a nice bonus. Bardo's secret stash house in the Commoner District has weapons along with the gold. Defensive gear he kept, just in case. Well, it's just in case. A clock, Barto, and you're too dead to use them. Numbers 9 and 10. Thieves Guild pulled out of Kula City, only left a few scouts behind. Night Order disbanded. All towns lifting security restrictions. The fake monster crisis is officially over. Open roads. Open gates. Freedom of movement restored. Perfect timing for someone who needs to eventually visit Kula City to rescue his sister from a death cult. Meanwhile, across town, Guava's put on his Oscar-winning sad performance carrying Nim's mutilated corpse back to town. Sighing. Tearing up. Accepting condolences from people he's actively planning to enslave. Merla watched from the crowd and smirked. She knows. He knows she knows. They exchanged a little nod like two criminals at a company picnic. Some smart townspeople noticed the suspicious timing. Barto dead one day, his heir dead the next, with Guavas' nephew as the only surviving inheritor? But nobody dared say anything. Guavas is a justice knight and the security captain. Accusing him without proof is basically writing your own death sentence. So the murders got filed under unfortunate coincidence, and life moved on. As for me, I have a plan for tomorrow. Step 1. Get into the Knight Academy library. Step 2. Find the worst novel ever written. Step 3. Steal it. Sorry, borrow it. Indefinitely. Without asking. Step 4. Unlock the sealed alchemical knowledge hidden inside by a lovesick wizard genius. Step 5. Become unstoppable. But tonight, one more test. Back to the mental chanting. Alchemical items. Alchemical items. Weapons. Armor. Equipment. Things that make me stronger. If tomorrow's intel confirms the pattern again, then I've officially upgraded from kid with a magic newspaper to kid with a magic search engine. And honestly, that might be more powerful than any sword, any armor, or any breathing technique in this entire world. Information isn't just power. Information is everything. So Harlington and his wife Lorraine weren't just regular magic users. They were wizards, born with innate magical abilities coded into their DNA. Natural-born sorcerers who went on to become high-level mages and masters of alchemy and potion-making respectively. Their study notes could literally contain the cheat codes to two of the most valuable professions in this entire world. We're talking knowledge that wealthy nobles would kill for. A single high-level breathing technique is worth dozens of gold coins, but the combined research notes of a master alchemist and a master potion maker? That's priceless. But there's a catch. There's always a catch. To use alchemy or potion making, you need spiritual energy, the magical kind. And to activate spiritual energy, you need talent. It's like finding the world's best piano in your living room, but your fingers don't work. Quick magic system recap. This world has two main power paths. Path 1. Battle Aura. Condense your blood energy into a life seed. Become a knight. Punch things really hard. That's me right now. Path 2. Spiritual Power. Activate your brain's soul energy. Manipulate natural forces. Become a mage. This path is way harder and way rarer. Only a few people can do it. And wizards? They're born with it. Like being born with a cheat code already installed. Harlington and Lorraine were that kind of rare. Me? My magical talent is probably mediocre at best. This body wasn't exactly built for the arcane arts. But do I care? Talent not enough? System fills the gap. That's right. I just discovered my intel system has a search function. If I can steer my daily intel toward magic-related information, maybe the system can literally teach me how to activate spiritual energy. Find me resources, shortcuts, loopholes, things that would take normal people decades to discover. The system already found me a breathing technique, an energy pearl, a potion recipe, and an alchemical mask. Why not a magic tutorial next? But first things first, I need that book. Next morning, walking Lisa to school, she's bouncing ahead of me like a happy little kangaroo. Right before the academy gates, I stopped her. Lisa, can you do me a favor? Her eyes went huge, like I just offered her a promotion. See, Litton treats her like a baby, protective dad who won't let her do anything. But I asked for her help, like an equal, like she mattered. Kids are so easy to motivate. Just treat them like people. What is it? Can I do it? Can I really? I told her what I needed. Simple mission. Something only a student at the night academy could do. Something that wouldn't raise any suspicion from a cute 10-year-old girl. Get me a book from the library. A specific book. On the bottom shelf. That nobody has ever checked out. The worst romance novel in literary history. Lisa practically vibrated with excitement. A secret mission from her cool big brother. She waved goodbye and bounced through the school gates like a spy entering enemy territory. Meanwhile, across town, a very different scene was playing out. Guava sat in his security office, processing the news that martial law was lifted. Night order dissolved. All clear. No more monsters. And his first thought? Not, great, the citizens are safe. Not, wonderful, peace is restored. His first thought. Perfect. Time to make more slaves. He pulled out a stack of contracts from his desk. Parchment papers listing every person Bardo had already victimized. People who lost their homes, their land, their savings. People on the edge of losing their freedom. And Guava started sorting them. Left pile meets the cult's requirements. Right pile doesn't. Because the Blood Moon cult doesn't take just any sacrifice. There are rules. The victims must be under 18, physically healthy, fully developed. Males can't be married. Females can't have given birth. He went through name after name, checking ages, checking family status, checking medical conditions, like a butcher sorting cuts of meat. Then he reached a file near the bottom of the stack. Ron Yeager, age 15, parents deceased. One sister, sold to Mr. Madoc's household 2 weeks ago. No other relatives. No friends. No employment. He paused, smiled, and placed my file on the left side. The sacrifice pile. I'm on the menu. A justice knight. The man who controls law enforcement in my town, who just murdered 3 people, who's allied with a slave trader and a death cult. Just put my name on a list of teenagers to be kidnapped and ritually murdered. And he thinks I'm just some helpless orphan with no connections and no power. He looked at my file and saw easy prey. Buddy, you just put a wolf on your sacrifice list. And this wolf is about to get a lot bigger. But right now I'm walking home from school drop-off, hands in my pockets, whistling, looking like the most harmless teenager in the world. That's the thing about being underestimated. It's not a weakness. It's a superpower. Lunchtime at the clinic. Litton and I had just finished a busy morning. Him healing people, me doing paperwork, both of us pretending I'm not secretly a superhuman martial artist. He even offered to formally teach me medicine, which is genuinely nice and also incredibly useful for a guy who plans to eventually brew magical potions. Then a man walked in and ruined my appetite. Short, muscular, official uniform, sword on his hip, a trainee knight, minimum requirement to be a law enforcement officer in this town. My brain immediately went to DEFCON 2. Regular patrol guards are night attendants. This guy was a full tier above. He wasn't here for a checkup. Are you Ron Yeager? Not. Hello. Not. Nice clinic. Just straight to my name. Classic cop energy. I put on my best confused innocent face. Yes, sir? Can I help you? You're suspected of involvement in the attack on Merchant Barto. Come with me. And there it was. Guava's making his move. Right on schedule, exactly like the intel warned me. I did my best shocked and terrified performance. Eyes wide. Voice shaky. Sir, there must be a mistake. I would never save it. You can explain at the station. His hand drifted toward his sword. This is the moment where a normal orphan would crumble. Cry. Beg. Maybe even confess to something they didn't do just to make the scary man with the weapon stop looking at them like that. But I'm not a normal orphan. I'm an orphan who planned for this. Enter, Litton. Walking out with his afternoon tea, saw a law enforcement officer threatening his assistant and immediately stepped in. Wait, Matt, what's going on? This must be some misunderstanding. Matt, The officer recognized Litton instantly. Apparently Litton had treated his injuries before, and in this town, Litton's reputation carries weight. You don't disrespect the doctor who saved your life in front of his own clinic. Matt's hand came off the sword. His voice softened. He explained the situation. Guava's suspects that the bear trap that injured Barto was placed deliberately. And since I, Ron Yeager, had a grudge against Barto, stolen property, sister sold into slavery, I had motive, which is technically true. I absolutely did place that trap. But they have zero evidence. This whole thing is Guava's manufacturing a pretext to grab me. Litton looked at me. I denied everything with the most sincere face I've ever made. Then Litton did something that made my heart swell with genuine gratitude. Matt, I trust Ron completely, but I won't make your job difficult. I'll come with him to the station. A doctor accompanying his assistant to a police interrogation. That's not just support, that's a shield. Guavas can bully a homeless orphan. He cannot bully a homeless orphan who shows up with the most beloved physician in town. We arrived at the government building, and the first thing I saw? A preview of MY future if I didn't have Litton. Some poor kid named Pollock, skinny, ragged, terrified, was being questioned by Guavas. And by questioned, I mean railroaded into a confession through pure intimidation. Guavas laid it out with surgical precision. Your family's land bordered Bartos. Your father owed him gambling debts. Your parents died and you borrowed funeral money from him. You have motive. Pollock was trembling. But I didn't do it. Can you prove you didn't? The kid's brain short-circuited. Because, how do you prove a negative? The legal standard should be innocent until proven guilty. The accuser should provide evidence of guilt. But Guavas flipped it. Prove your innocence or you're guilty. That's not justice. That's a trap. A trap designed to catch people who have no money, no connections, and no one to defend them. People exactly like me, or like I used to be before I befriended the town doctor. Pollock couldn't answer. Guavas waved his hand. Take him away. The two officers punched Pollock in the stomach, one from each side, perfectly synchronized, like they'd practiced this, and dragged his doubled-over body out of the room. I watched this happen from the doorway. Watched a scared, innocent kid get beaten and imprisoned because a justice knight needed warm bodies for a death cult. This is what Guavas had planned for me. Walk in, accuse me of placing the trap, demand I prove my innocence, and when I can't, because how could anyone? Lock me up, strip my freedom, ship me off to the South family. One more teenager on the sacrifice list. My file was on his left pile. The qualified sacrifice pile. Age 15. No parents. No spouse. Healthy. Perfect victim. If I hadn't spent 2 weeks building an identity as Litton's assistant. If I hadn't rescued Lisa that night. If I hadn't given Litton those cattail herbs. I'd be Pollock right now, getting punched in the gut and dragged into a cell. Instead, I'm walking into that same office with a respected doctor at my side and a prepared defense in my head. But Pollock doesn't have a system. Pollock doesn't have a mentor. Pollock doesn't have anything. And Guavas just ate him alive. I filed that image away. Another name for the people to avenge list. Another reason to get stronger. Another reminder that in this world, power isn't optional. It's the difference between walking into a room and walking out of one. Time to go meet the wolf in his office. Game face on.